You are tuning in to the Roundtable, live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that be joining me on archive. I'm being joined by Joe Habib, Sondale Media, Chief Funky Second Half of HCP, and Dave from the 408, the Shoe Shine. Make sure you hit my like button. How's it going? We see Duval Grind, Rob, Boxing TV, and A-Rod Book Sale in the chat. So a lot to talk about here. We are going to touch just give kind of our final thoughts on Canelo Saunders. You guys can give kind of whatever you feel you want to still say about it or reiterate about it, whatever the case is. And, of course, we're also being joined by making this round table debut, H Money. There we go. All right. Let's start with Joe. Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter. Talk to us about Canelo Saunders. Any final thoughts you wanted to kind of close out on this week about this fight?
Well, I think Canelo did what he had to do, obviously, which is pretty much what everyone is going to say. I was impressed with just how much in control of the fight he was, how he just was able to impose his will like that. I thought he would control the fight, but he really was able to back Saunders up and trap him on the ropes on a few occasions. And I just don't think the movement, like I said, was effective. And I didn't think it would be effective, but, when I talked about the fight beforehand. So I just didn't think he was going to stop him. I thought Saunders was going to be able to go the distance. And because he did stop him, you can make an argument. And I know someone else said this, and I'm going to repeat what that person said. I forget who it was, but they said that arguably this could be his best knockout because he knocked out an undefeated champion who's never been knocked out before. So this could go down as his best knockout, most significant knockout. So I was impressed. Okay.
All right. Sondale, give us some thoughts, man. Canelo Saunders.
I'm going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good was that it was a competitive 8 rounds. It was, it wasn't yielded him, getting blown out of the water in 1 or 2 rounds. The bad is that I think Caleb Plant is going to drag out negotiations. I'm not excited about that. There's just things that have been put out there that lead you to believe that there's possibilities of that fight having a tough negotiation. I like Al Heyman. I like what he's doing for boxing, but he's a very smart businessman. He's going to try to get options on Canelo if they negotiate that Caleb Plant fight. That's what smart businessmen do. And the ugly is Bubu Andrade getting the boot from the press conference. So if he would have gone in there with a little bit more respect, I think things would have gone a different way. But it got ugly really fast, and I think everybody's seen what happened.
Absolutely. And making his debut to the round table, H Money. How's it going, brother? And any final thoughts you have about to close out this week, man, for Canelo Saunders?
It was a great card. First of all, D-Style, thanks for having me on the platform. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the opportunity. Canelo did what he had to do. It was a competitive fight while it lasted. Billy Joe Saunders had success against Canelo. It was a very good fight. Canelo showed that he's the best body puncher in boxing. Canelo went to the body. Canelo was breaking him down. A beautiful uppercut stopped the fight. A broken eye socket. Billy Joe Saunders might never be the same fighter after that. You know what I mean? The guy made a lot of money, but Canelo showed why he's one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. He's arguably the best fighter in the world. So, D-Style, Canelo did what he had to do. So I got to give the man respect. Now he's a unified champion. He's looking to be undisputed. So he's trying to make history, becoming the first undisputed champion at 168 pounds.
Well said. Well said. Jay Funky, any final thoughts you want to give about this Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight?
Man, I feel like I talked this thing to death. We've talked about it already a lot of times this week, but my final thoughts are this. It was a really great fight. I enjoyed every second of it. I was live. I called it here on YouTube on my channel. I felt like the fight started off a little tactical. Then around round 4, I felt like the fight kind of started. You know, Saunders was starting to move around a little bit. Him and Canelo got a little warmed up, got a little loose, and then things started happening. And I enjoyed the fight, man. Both guys were able to do good things. I had Canelo winning at the time of the stoppage, 5 rounds to 3. Saunders was doing a good job of avoiding those big shots for the most part, but he was getting hit with some. I remember he got hit with a nice uppercut. I think it was like round 3, right in the throat. It was like the same area that he hurt Kovalev with right before he knocked him out. Took that one well, but the one that ended the fight, unfortunately for him, he was avoiding those uppercuts because Canelo was setting that up off the jab. But he kept dipping low, dipping down, and that's what happens when you run into a hard punch like that. It crushed his eye, crushed the bone around his eye and his cheekbone. I agree with H Money. This could be the end of Saunders. We just don't know at this point. This is a very serious injury. We praise guys like Margarito for continuing on with the same kind of injury against Pacquiao. It was pretty much over at that point. He had another fight after that with Miguel Cotto, and that eye was it was bad as the fight went on. And if you look at him now, he just doesn't look right. That eye just does not look right. And, you know, I don't blame Saunders in his corner for stopping the fight because, you know, your eyes, you need them in life, you know. So, yeah, credit to Canelo. He did his thing. He's got all 3 major titles. He's got 1 more left. And I'm going to go on record right now on the round table in front of everybody and say I think Plant takes the fight. He doesn't have a choice at this point. After seeing that event, like, how could you not want to fight this guy in front of thousands, 73,000 people, all those belts on the line? He's going to do it.
Touch enough on that in a little bit for the Plant thing, for sure. We'll go first to you for that, for sure. Hey, 408, man, give us your final thoughts on Canelo versus Saunders.
Touching on the business aspects of boxing, undoubtedly, Canelo has established himself firmly as the face of boxing. Like, I don't even think that's up for our argument anymore. He is the face of boxing globally. Also, he cemented the fact that he will be the A-side in every negotiation going forward. That whole term A-side that came from Floyd Mayweather, he is it now. He will be calling the shots, weight class, location of the fight, if you want that money, you're going to succumb to whatever his desires are. I think Caleb Plant thinks he's going to put up a fight with that. But one big thing that I took away from the weekend is that myth that Canelo has problems with southpaw. I think he answered that to everyone now. That's gone. Like, he really has no problem with southpaws or slick fighters, that term that's so loosely used. He's got a problem with slick fighters. And I think that despite what he said to Boo Boo Andrade, I think he will fight Boo Boo Andrade eventually. And I think it's a fight that it's on the minds of a lot of hardcore boxing fans. I don't think he's going to have a problem with that. Maybe he used this as a measuring stick. And I don't think Boo Boo Andrade will do much better, to be honest, than Billy Joe Saunders. So, and again, on my last note, if you're going to bet against Canelo, you probably should do it with money as opposed to a pie to the face.
Well, there you go. Shout out to Drew Evil. Of course, took a pie to the face because he decided to pick Billy Joe Saunders. I warned him. I told him. He didn't listen, so he took a pie in the face is what happened, okay? That's what you get, Drew. That's what you get. All right, let me just say this, man. Just some final thoughts on this. First of all, Canelo in 5 months, In 5 months, he has collected 3 of the 4 belts. Let me repeat that. In 5 months, he has collected 3 of the 4 belts in the division, and he's looking for Caleb Plant. Caleb, Canelo is looking for you. Where are you? Why are you hiding? There's a warrant for Caleb Plant. It's time to do the duel. You know why? Because for a long time, how many unifications did we get? Ever since Ward left the division, how many unifications did we have at 168, Beeb?
None, I don't think.
Hey, H Money, did Benavides and Plant have enough time to unify? They're both with PBC?
Yes. That fight should have happened already.
I agree 100%. So what's going on? Nobody was unifying. Nobody was fighting each other. And then here comes Saul Canelo Alvarez. And he's like, you know what? There's a new sheriff in town. Okay, I don't know what y'all doing. Okay, but I got a warrant for you, Smith. I got a warrant for you, Billy Joe. And I got now I got a warrant for Caleb Plant. He's looking for Caleb Plant. Where are you, Caleb Plant? And that's what we're going to talk about next. And let me just say this. Canelo broke this dude's face. He broke his cheekbone, right? Obviously, I had the same reaction everybody did that night, but at the end of the day, that was a very severe injury. And you can argue that injuries like that should be the end of a fight. Like, I don't think we should give a fighter the option to continue fighting after that, even if they want to, right? Mm-hmm. That's just my personal opinion. This is not an eye swollen. Okay, this is not just a regular injury. It's very serious. Like, now we don't know if Dubois will ever be the same because he kept fighting. We don't know if Billy Joe will be the same. Okay, anybody here think Billy Joe's done? Anybody in the panel?
I think he's done. I don't think you'll see him again.
I think he's done too.
Yeah, you'll never see him again. In my opinion.
Right. I think there's a good chance that he's done.
Yeah.
The severity of the injury is far greater than what Kell Brook sustained to both eyes.
What do you think, H-Money? Is he done, or is he going to come back?
I can see him coming back. You know, it's a lot of fights at 168. You still got Daniel Jacobs right there, possibly a fight with Boo Boo Andrade, but maybe he won't be the same, though, D. I don't think he's going to be the same, to be honest.
Probably won't be the same. We don't even know if the ball will be the same, but at the end of the day, doesn't mean it's over, but I don't think it'll be the same. That's for sure. All right. Hey, we're going to go ahead and talk about this, man. Will Plant fight for Undisputed? Will this fight happen this year in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend, which is, I think, where Canelo wants to fight. And even if it doesn't happen then, could it maybe happen in December? But this year, will we get it? Now, you touched on it, G-Funky, but that's the next topic. Will this fight happen? Are you really that confident? Do you have that faith in Caleb Plant, G-Funky?
Yeah. And I'm looking at it, like I said, from a competitive nature of these guys. And these guys are at the top of the game right now in boxing. He's got the IBF belt. Canelo's got all the rest of the belts. If he doesn't take the fight at this point, I'd have to question his competitive nature, his drive to be great if you don't take this fight next. You said this before, D-Style. Canelo has already set the table. All this guy's got to do is show up and eat, pretty much. He's already beat 2 world champions, collected 3 belts. He's got the last one. I can tell you like this, man. If I was in Plant's shoes, now, Plant and I were not the same person, but I'm looking at it, like, again, from a competitive perspective, seeing all the hard work that the guy had after that fight. And again, looking at that event, that was just an amazing event. 73,000 people there. I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to get in the gym, train my ass off, and I'm going to kick this dude's ass, and I'm going to take all his belts in front of all his fans. Like, that's what I'd be thinking if I was Plant. Canelo's already done the hard work, so all he's got to do is show up at this point, man. So I think he has to take the fight, man. If not, I'd really have to question his heart.
Well, I do agree that he should be taking his fight if he has that fighter spirit, but H-Money, if you had to guess, is Caleb Plant going to dip or is he going to fight?
You know, I just watched the interview with Caleb Plant today, by the way, and you know, they were talking about the Canelo fight, and he was talking about the business side of it. He was talking about how Billy Joe Saunders got $8 million to fight Canelo, and he was saying how this is an undisputed fight. So he was saying he needs to get paid properly. He also said that he got a lot of options, you know, and we know that the PBC in the past, they have blocked fights. We know that Deontay Wilder wasn't allowed to come to the zone to fight against Anthony Joshua. You know, we know that Jamal Charlo never fought Demetrius Andrade, and Eddie Hearn sent offers. Now, will Al Heyman allow one of his biggest assets, Caleb Plant, to leave and go fight Canelo? Now, from what I'm hearing, D-Style, Caleb Plant is weighing out his options. He's talking about he might fight against a Benavidez, a Jamal Charlo. So now I don't know what to expect, but when Canelo calls, when Canelo says he wants you, you got to step up and take the fight. When the cash cow comes calling for you, everybody wants to fight Canelo. Andrade, Charlo. When Canelo picks you, you need to take the fight. No ifs, ands, or buts. But I understand boxing is a business. He said he wants to get paid. So we just got to wait and see, D-Style. But I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to do something else.
Okay, all right. Dave from the 408, the hashtag the shoe shine, talk to us. If you have to guess, is Caleb Plant going to take this fight or is he going to duck?
Yeah, he has ducked in the past, and I've been looking at all the clues. Like H Money just said, there was an interview, so I'm looking at all the clues on what he's saying, his body language, what he's saying in his words, trying to dissect and analyze them. But at the end of the day, it's prize fighting, right? Prize fighting. This is the largest purse that he is ever going to get in his entire life. Why does he want to hold on to this 168-pound championship belt and fight lower tier guys like Caleb Truax? That's what he wants to do, defend his title against. Nobody's that's a fan of boxing is going to have any respect for Caleb Plant. I mean, everyone's going to laugh at him that he's a duck. This is your chance. Everyone else has stepped up. Even Yildirim stepped up. If you lose the belt, there's no downside. You're still going to hopefully he doesn't break or have a serious eye injury. You know, aside from that, he can still move on to go on and continue his boxing career. He won't be the champion at 168, but why pass on the biggest payday of your life? The fans in Vegas are calling for this fight. We need this super fight. Redeem ourselves on the West Coast somewhere like at the Raiders Stadium, Allegiant Stadium, September. That is the most appropriate date to do a unification fight. Mexican Independence Day in Las Vegas. Now, I know what he's aiming for. He wants to get paid more than Sergey Kovalev. And from a financial perspective, he deserves it. So we'll see how this plays out. But he absolutely should take this fight, and now, not later.
Hey, shout out to Coco the Don Boxing Channel on here. Chicano Prophet, Ignorant Boxing, Shoe Shine in the chat as well. A-Rod A3, Ignorant Boxing. Calix 2.0, Dual Grind MMA, making his debut soon as an MMA fighter. Well, shout out to him. Everybody, Tracy Boxer Girl, Alexis, Hawker Mustang. We got, a bunch of people on here. Shout out to everybody. Big Dog Willie. A shout out to you as well. Hey, Beeb, are we going to get this fight? Is Caleb Plant going to step up? Like, what's going on? Because there's a war now for him to fight in September.
Well, behavior is proof, right? You have to acknowledge that, right? When you see a pattern of behavior, especially coming from one group, one entity, one company, you have to look at that, and you have to factor that in to this situation as well. It's not only Wilder versus Joshua didn't happen, Spence versus Crawford. We can look at Davis versus Lomachenko. There's always these situations where there's a big fight in the division or there's a unification fight in the division that's on the table. And when there's one group involved, as H Money said, the fight never gets made. And then, the quickest way to get out of a fight is what? Price yourself out of the fight. And he's already talking about money. And he's already saying, I got other options. And he's also gone on record as saying, I don't need Canelo for my, for my legacy, which is the same thing that Spence said about Crawford. And look where we are there. So behavior is proof. So I don't think it's going to happen. And I hate to have to say that, but I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be dragged out, and it's going to happen way later than we expect it to and when it should, to be honest. So I just hate to say it, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to Alex and Fresco 916. A shout out to the 916 in the building, of course. Blood Boxing 24 GZ. How's it going, brothers? Sonteo, is this fight going to happen?
I think it's going to get dragged out. I think if it happens, I think Caleb has to tell Al Heyman that he wants it. Al Heyman is strategically going to try to tie that fight into a 2-fight deal or a 3-fight deal, which is very smart of him because he has other fighters that would be very competitive with Canelo. But I think Caleb has to, and just like Joe said, it comes down to behavior. When they start talking a certain way, then you can start reading between the lines. But if he really wants it, then he's gonna have to. I mean, I know he has a good relationship with Al Heyman because Al Heyman put a whole show in his hometown, if I'm not mistaken, in Tennessee a couple years ago. So I think Caleb Plant has to pull the trigger and say, I mean, I do care about what happens on the business side on your end, but I want this, give me this, and let's make it go forward. But I see it getting dragged out.
Hey, Caleb, let me tell you something, man. I'm telling you right now, word on the street is you're scared. That's what people are saying about you. Do you want that to be do you want people to say that about you? What is the downside? Like, first of all, if I'm Caleb Plant, let me just tell you something. And Al Heyman's giving me all these reasons why, hey, man, don't fight him. Let's hold off. You know what I do? I say, I do this. Can I say, bro, that's life-changing money. That's life-changing money right there. That's what that is. Even if he gets $8 million, that's life-changing. There are no other options for you, Caleb. That's going to make you half of that. So stop acting like you don't have options. There's no other option to Undisputed. Mr. I have options. You said you want to be Undisputed? Then you got to fight Canelo. That's who you need to fight. I had a feeling, and it's funny because all of us kind of knew this. Like, I remember people saying, man, I hope the first belt he gets is Caleb's, because if that's the last one, man, is it going to be a pain in the ass to get that dude to fight somebody, right? But there's no downside for Caleb. The money, it's there. Legacy, it's there. What's the downside? There's literally no downside. Canelo already did all the work for you. All you need to do is show the fuck up. He already collected the other 2 belts for you. All you need to do is show up. If I'm Caleb Plant, I do what Canelo did when Lara wanted to fight him. That's what I do.
Can I tell you what the downside is?
Go ahead.
They lose control of the division, because that's the last piece of the puzzle. And if Canelo has that piece, then they're going to have to do cross promotions, because Canelo is going to be a free agent. Before they had a stronghold on that division. They had David Benavidez, they had Plant, they also had Durrell. Anthony Durrell was the champion as well. So they always had a couple of those belts, in the stable. Now this is the last one. So if they lose this belt, they're gonna, all roads are gonna have to lead to Canelo.
I agree 100% with you.
They're gonna lose control.
I agree 100% with you but that's Al Heyman's problem. That's PBC's problem. That's not Plant's problem.
But who's advising Plant?
Well, Plant could just do the fight anyway.
He could do it. I'm just saying he could do what he wants to do, but he's being advised by Al Heyman. And I feel, and this is just my opinion, I feel Al Heyman's telling him to not take the fight. Wait, you're young. You don't need it now.
He's not that young.
Wait for him to get older.
He's almost as old as Canelo. Like, dude's getting old.
He's young in his career, though. He doesn't have the experience and the miles that Canelo has. So that, you know what I'm saying? He's got more time, I think, left. I think Canelo probably will be done in 4 years. Well, this kid, you know. So
Canelo said 7 years, so we'll see about that. You know what I mean? But
well, I hope he's right.
look, at the end of the day, you got to do the fight, brother. It's the way it is. You got to do the fight. You know, it's. I do agree, though. I don't. Something's just telling me that this fight just isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I just have an intuition. I feel it like it's not going to happen.
It's going to happen.
All you got to do is look at Caleb Plant's body language. He gets like all monotone when he talks about Canelo. Like he's so disinterested. It's like when you find out you got to go to the dentist. You know, that's the type of attitude he has when he asks questions about Canelo. You know. It's crazy. I just don't think he wants to fight. Like when David Benavidez is asked questions, he's like, "Oh yeah, man, oh yeah." Like David Benavidez is the only one over there that wants to fight. He's the only one. I think David Benavidez would fight anyone if you put him.
Look, let me tell you something. The only way I give Caleb Plant a pass is if his next fight is David Benavidez.
Yes, sure.
That's it.
Me too.
That's the only way I will say, okay, fine, you're fighting David. And I hope David wins because I think he'll take the Canelo fight.
Definitely will.
All right. So
I think it has to happen next, man. He's got to do it. I mean, geez, he has to know everybody will be talking about him, and it'll be a huge event again, just like we had last Saturday. He's got to do it, man.
Yeah, but you already know what's going to happen. There's going to be some PBC fanboys that are going to come on here on the internet, and they're going to be like, "Oh, well, they're shortchanging Plant. Plant deserves more money."
That's what the narrative's going to be. Oh, he's trying to lowball Caleb Plant. He thinks that he can control everything. He's trying to be a diva, just like they did with the Triple G situation. Oh, Canelo's a diva. They're gonna want it on. They're
gonna want it on Fox pay-per-view too, and more than half of these guys, they don't even buy pay-per-views. I doubt they bought any of those pay-per-views last year from PBC. You know,
the most lucrative platform to put this on would be DAZN, because they would more than likely, I would suspect, put up the most money for it.
Yeah, just do the fight on DAZN. Well, why are they begging the fight to be on pay-per-view? Like, that's like stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
My opinion. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's a pay-per-view worthy fight because of Undisputed, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I just don't understand the fascination with every fight having to be on pay-per-view for the PBC side. I just don't get it, you know? Yeah. Well, I buy them all too, so you can't call me a hater. I bought them all last year.
Well, that's because they want to prove to DAZN that pay-per-view isn't dead, but all they're doing is proving that it's really not as alive and kicking as they think it is when they come back with their numbers.
Hey, by the way, how many of these PBC fanboys that were like at first, right? All I heard was the Caleb Plant fight isn't that big of a deal. I mean, Undisputed, who the fuck cares about that?
Yeah.
Like fight a real challenge, Canelo. How many of those same dudes are going to be like, oh, Canelo is trying to avoid Caleb Plant. Watch, he's lowballing him for a reason. Canelo doesn't want to offer him real money. Canelo paid Triple G this much to fight him, but he won't pay Caleb Plant. Like, watch, that's going to be what they're going to be saying.
Name one fighter that fought in the PBC that was ever undisputed. Name one. Can't. Oh, I got one. No, I don't even have one. I was going to say Jermaine Taylor. I was going to say Jermaine Taylor, but he vacated one of the belts as soon as he won it from.
No, but PBC didn't exist when Jermaine Taylor was fighting.
Yeah, well, he was a Heyman. I'm looking back because he was a Heyman fighter.
Oh, yeah. I remember those days when they said they were going to bring. PBC said they're going to bring fights back to network television. I mean, it looked good at first. They were doing it at first, but then now that seems like it was a long time ago.
Yeah. Hey, H-Money, why do they want the fight on pay-per-view? What's wrong with DAZN? What's going on? Why don't they want the fight on DAZN?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's because they think they could get more pay-per-view numbers. There'll be more money. Is there an echo?
No.
No. Y'all hear an echo?
Nope. You're good.
Okay. Well, I think maybe because Canelo is a pay-per-view star. You know, Canelo is the last fighter that did over 1 million pay-per-view buys. So I'm thinking maybe they think this is a pay-per-view worthy fight, maybe they think this fight right here can do 1 million pay-per-view buys. Now, Caleb Plant, he does have a fan base in Nashville, Tennessee. Caleb Plant, he's a rising star in the sport of boxing. I believe he's only 28 years old. Now, his last fight was on Fox. It wasn't on Fox Sports. They put it on Fox. I think they are building up Caleb Plant for a pay-per-view, to be honest with you.
All right. Hey, let me tell you something. You fight Canelo, more people will know who he is, you know? So just go, take your L, let Canelo get your strap, and more people will know who Caleb Plant is. You know, and maybe down the line he could be on a pay-per-view if he wants. But right now, I mean, as a boxing fan, I don't have a problem with the fight being on the zone at all. Like, the fight's going to be the fight anyway, right? So, like, it doesn't have to be on pay-per-view for my liking. You know what I mean? So that's just what I got to say about. And plus, I don't know about you guys. Like, the zone's working a little better than it was at first. You know, I don't really have the freezing problems anymore. Like, I don't have any of those issues anymore.
No,
like, it's actually getting better. So, hey, shout out to them. You know what I mean?
You bring up a real good point. That
In the production.
Yeah, no, PBC doesn't have an app. You know, it's not like you can, if you're out and about, well, I could watch this fight in the UK at 1 o'clock in the afternoon running errands. PBC doesn't allow that. They don't have an app for that. You know, there's multiple ways to watch these fights. But I have a question, everybody. If Al is such a genius and Canelo's coming up on free agency, there's 3 fighters everyone wants to see Canelo fight at some point, and that's Benavidez, Charlo, and Plant. How could he not figure out how to sign Canelo to a $100 million deal? $33 million. That's what he was going to get originally with the zone for 3 pay-per-view specials.
Problem is, Dave, is they have too many fighters over there. That's the thing over at PBC. There's not enough funds.
The rumor was, and I don't remember where I got the source from, was that the offer was a 3-fight deal for 75. But I don't.
Okay, all right.
I don't remember. I don't remember where I got that from.
From PBC?
So they're not as confident.
Yeah,
PBC.
Now, I will say that the production it's like the production has gotten better. Like, the production was kind of whack at first. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean?
You guys don't have a hard time logging in. Like, the production is good, and I never buffered the whole time I saw the fight. But to sign in took me like 3 or 4 minutes,
I'm already
stayed logged in.
Yeah, I stayed logged in. I don't log in and out.
I don't log out.
Yeah, I don't
log out, brother. Just stay logged in.
Yeah, don't log out. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yo, D Style, I got a question. Y'all seen that new camera? The new camera that the Zone got is pretty nice, man. It's real up close. When the fighters were walking to the ring, it's like super HD camera. Did y'all notice that? The production got way better.
I noticed that, H Money. I'm a camera junkie, and the production value on that last Canelo fight was spectacular.
Picking up on the.
They've done better with the in ring. Like, there was a time when they would show the back of one of the fighters, and you couldn't even see the other fighter. Like, it was pretty bad for a while. You know what I mean? So they got it better. You know what I mean? So credit where credit is due, for sure. The production is doing better for sure. Since Chicano, yeah, they've gotten better. You know, so. That's that. Okay.
Well, I hope Teofimo Lopez does equally well with that Triller, because it didn't look too good to me last time from what I saw.
The Triller, I don't know how they're going to do with a world championship fight. I don't know. I don't know if I want Snoop Dogg calling a world championship title fight. Like, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I got to see it first, I guess.
They'll bring Al Bernstein back, though. He'll bring a little bit of normalcy to it.
If Snoop Dogg is doing commentary, I will have that fight on mute during the main event.
Who's okay with Snoop Dogg calling a world championship fight? Let's go around. H Money, you okay with that?
Man, we gonna need somebody better than Snoop Dogg, man. I think Snoop Dogg is good when you got the YouTubers and things like that, but he doesn't know, the sport of boxing like that. He doesn't really know the history of boxing. We need some experts in there. Let me get Jim Lampley or somebody like that. Let me get Harold Letterman and those guys.
There you go. Beeb, what do you think about Snoop Dogg? Like, do you care, or are you against it? Like, calling a world championship fight?
I'm not a big fan of it, but I suspect they may bring someone else in, because they brought Al in. They did bring Al Bernstein in, which I was surprised to see Al Bernstein on that telecast. Maybe they'll bring someone else that's equivalent to Al on there. Maybe Paulie may be there. You never know. I'd love to see Paulie there.
They should put Snoop way up there. Like, you remember back in like the 90s with like at the beginning of a pay-per-view, Bob Costas would kind of like open it up. He'd be with that booth way up there, and then they would send it down to like Lampley and the rest of those guys. Like, he can stay up there as long as he's not calling a fight. I'm good,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, what about you, Santel?
The problem with Snoop is that he takes over. I personally like Al Bernstein, and like H Money said, there's a history, and he can give us stats, and he can give us perspective. But the thing is that people start barking real loud, and let me bark louder than the rest of the panel, and then it gets out of control. Yeah. So I personally like Al Bernstein. For the DAZN card, I just switched over to Spanish. I had Claudia Trejos and Mikey Garcia, so I had a blast.
Okay,
Sergio
what about you, Dave?
Is the worst too, man.
You want to hear some bars, some Snoop Dogg while you're watching the fight? What's up?
Nah, it's a disaster. Snoop is a disaster. But although, you know what? You bring up a good point that in a green room interview type where he's like backstage with the fighters before the fight, that would actually be really entertaining. It'd be a little bit of that WWE element, but not commentating during the fight.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Snoop Dogg. Look, I think it's entertaining when it's two YouTubers, like H Money said, stuff like that. That's cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just don't. I could just imagine. Like, I don't want this to become some normal thing. And I know a lot of people find it funny and all that, but I don't know if I would like it in a championship fight. But I have a feeling he is going to be calling the fight, though. I think he's going to be there when Cambozas and Teofimo are fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was already pretty bad if anybody watched the last pay-per-view they had when they were doing the Pro Grace fight. I mean, that was the realest, the best fight of the night. And yeah, it was pretty bad listening to him call a fight like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. All right. Hey, shout out to everybody, man. Coach K in the building. Duval Grind on here. Mad Chad, Boxing and Sports. How's it going, brother? 24 GZ. Make sure you hit my like button and share this video on all your social media platforms. You're listening to the Roundtable, episode 31. 31 straight roundtables, man. I've been on, like, I think 30 or 29 of them. All right. And let's go ahead and talk about, Charlo. I mean, I saw something on Boxing Scene saying he's ready to go. He's ready to go in September. Said, hey, Canelo, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Like, I mean, we are no Canelo's trying to make the Caleb Plant fight. But let me offer this. Let me offer you guys this, right? If Caleb Plant ducks and Charlo's willing to move up to fight him, right? Is it a fight that they could potentially make in September? What do what do you think, Beeb?
I don't see why not if they really wanted to make it. But once again, behavior is proof. He called out Jacobs. He called up Jacobs before. He called out David Benavidez before, and then just mysteriously the fights never happened, and there's always a reason why. So, like I said, I'm not going to hold my breath for it. To be honest, but I would love it, and I think it would definitely be doable.
So you think it's capping? You think it's all talk? Like, you don't really think he wants to fight?
I don't think he really wants to fight him right now. No.
Yeah, very convenient time to call out Canelo, by the way. You know what I mean? It's very convenient, Hey, Sonteo, well, what do you make of the call out, man? Jamal saying, hey, I'm ready in September. I'll be ready. Let's go.
I have a feeling that he's been sidelined too long. That's my general gut feeling, is that he hasn't had a big, huge fight. He was at 160 when Canelo was there. He's at 160, Triple G's there. And those are big 10 million plus fights. So I think he's getting that itch. And I think if Plant doesn't pull the trigger, then I think Charlo might. That's just my gut feeling.
All right. Day 408. He's calling him out, brother. Are you pumped? Do you believe it? Are you a believer in Jamal? Does he want that fight with Canelo? What's up?
I appreciate his bravado, and I would love to see him fight Charlo. That guy, that's someone I absolutely want to see Canelo fight in the near future. But if this fight with Plant doesn't transpire in September, the only guaranteed sellout is the Triple G rubber match in September. We already know that fight sells in Vegas. You have a brand new stadium that's been untested there. That Raiders stadium hasn't even seen a home crowd yet. The fans will come back. People are dying to travel and leave. The pandemic seems to be wrapping up with evidence, 73,000 people. That's a guaranteed fight that will sell and make people very happy on Mexican Independence Day. And it actually needs to be made sooner than later because, as we can see, Triple G is really fading now. He's about to turn 40 pretty soon.
Yes, we could have big drama show. Yes, me Canelo again. Yes, Mexican style. Hey, H Money. Well, what do you make of Charlo calling out Canelo, saying he'll be ready in September? He's saying, "Let's do it, Canelo." Is he capping? Is he like what's going on?
He's a capper. He's what you call a professional capper, a clout chaser. Now, we know that Jermell Charlo said that his brother, Jermall Charlo, ducked Canelo, that they offered him a fight with Canelo before. So I think the man just talking. He called out David Benavidez, and then he ducked David Benavidez. He was afraid to fight David Benavidez. Jermall Charlo is about to fight Montiel, somebody we never heard before. He just fought Brandon Adams not too long ago, who was a 154-pounder. He also he fought against Dennis Hogan, who was another 154-pounder. So these Canelo haters, they say, oh, Canelo fought Yildirim, but Charlo fought against Dennis Hogan. Charlo fought against Brandon Adams. Now he's fighting Montiel. Now keep that same energy for Charlo. Now Charlo, he really doesn't want that smoke. Why not Charlo fight against Andrade in a unification bout? Why not do that, Charlo? You always using Canelo's name for attention, but you're not putting in the work. So I'm disappointed in Charlo. Charlo is at 160 pounds. He's not moving up anytime soon. Matter of fact, when it came to fighting David Benavidez, he said, I'm a 160-pounder, but you're willing to move up to fight Canelo. I don't know what to believe from Jermall Charlo at this point. But, Dave, you made a great point. Now, Canelo said he's willing to fight Triple G at 168 pounds. We know that Eddie Hearn works with Triple G and Canelo, and we know that fight is a huge fight. It's a huge fight. It did over 1 million pay-per-view buys 2 times. Now, people want to see Canelo in Triple G's career. Now, DAZN, the reason why DAZN signed Triple G was to make the trilogy with Canelo. So I think everybody will be happy with this fight, and I think Canelo stops Golovkin, stops him. So I think if the Caleb Plant fight doesn't happen, it will be Triple G,
Well said. And J Funky, he's calling him out. He's saying he wants all that smoke. He's ready. Say, let's go, Canelo.
Very convenient, like you said. We know that Canelo's one more belt away from being undisputed at 168. So very convenient for him to come out and say, yeah, I'm ready to fight right now. Fight in September. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. You guys all made good points about what he said about Benavidez. And not only that, but his fans. I remember they were all like, oh, you guys want little Charlo to move up to 168 to fight big giant Benavidez, but then, but he's willing to move up for Canelo. And not only that, I heard his trainer say they will go to 175, that they can make 175 because Charlo is a big guy. He's a big middleweight. So do I believe him? No, I don't. And as far as Triple G goes, look, I'm one of those rare guys that says I would like to see that fight again because, the first fight was a draw. Nobody won that one. Canelo gets the nod in the second. So, I think he's owed a third, just like I think Deontay Wilder is owed a third in the Fury, in the Fury thing. But undisputed over everything right here, man, for G Funky. I want to see undisputed first. Those guys can wait, in my opinion.
Well said. Let me tell y'all something, man. Okay? Because something G Funky said is 100% right. Okay? Charlo was talking all tough. Like he was huffing and he was puffing and he blew no house down. All right? Like this dude was like, oh, yeah, I could fight, Benavidez. I'd knock him out. Like, he was tired, like tough. I'll knock that dude out like that drunk in the fucking bar. Thought I could knock everybody out. And where's Sean? Good thing he's down here. I'll knock his ass out. Oh, it's in the restroom, bro. It's about to come out. No, I was just playing. Let me tell you something. Charlo is full of shit. Okay, I don't give a shit what anybody tells me, right? He was talking greasy about Benavidez, and then Benavidez said, yeah, let's do it. Like I'm all for it. Like, you know what I mean? I think Charlo's a great fighter. I definitely want to fight him. Let's do it. You know, all of a sudden, he's trying to fight some other dude. I don't even know the dude's name. Okay, a dude that like Munguia already like knocked the fuck out. Right? Some freaking Tijuana cab driver who he's fucking fighting. Okay? Anybody know his name? What's the dude's name?
Montiel?
I don't know.
Montiel.
Montiel, they found that dude. Al Heyman found that dude when he took an Uber in Tijuana. Okay? Like, hey, bro, I see you driving. You got good knuckles. Hey, you want to fight Charlo? You know, I think you could do the fight. You know, and then, yeah, you should have heard the people like, oh, Canelo fan. All of a sudden, it was about what the Canelo fans want all of a sudden, right? So here was the thing, guys. Like, people were saying, right? Like the Charlo fans were saying, oh, the Canelo fans want Charlo to move up. They want little itty bitty little Charlo to move up in weight so he could get beat up by big bad, Benavidez, because they want him to do it. That way he never has to face Canelo. Bro, it's not that deep, bro. All right? It's never been that deep. It's never going to be that deep. He ran his mouth. He was huffing. He was puffing. And he couldn't blow any shit down because when it's a real, and Canelo's a red brick house, okay? And when it's a real brick house, this dude can't blow shit down. Nothing, okay? So spare me the convenient talk. Why did you go with Al Heyman and say, hey, you know what? Canelo's going for Undisputed. I'm with PBC. Plant's with PBC. Let me fight Plant for the IBF title. Come on now. Let me get that championship. Because I know if Canelo runs into me, I'm going to take the fucking strap off from him. But he's not doing that. He ain't doing shit. Okay? All cap. All a bunch of shit. Right? So that's all I got to say about that. So it's all cap. That's what it is. He knows that like he's trying to make the Plant fight. Right. So what are you doing? Like there's the clout. Like, and you're running after it, motherfucker. All right? There's the clout. And you're chasing him, motherfucker.
How about how he was talking so bad about knocking out Benavidez and all that crap, and then when Benavidez says, all right, let's make the fight, let's do it, then he's like, well, you got to be over 25, you got to be vaccinated. Like, what are you looking for, a fight? Are you looking for a date? Like, what is this? You know, it's not like you're looking for a date in the newspaper like they used to do back in the day, like must be 5'10" and all this other crap. Like, get out of here with this talk, man. This guy is crazy.
He wanted both shots, both vaccination shots.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on over here, bro? Swipe right, motherfucker.
Tinder.
Right? You understand? Swipe right if you want the fight. It's as simple as that, right? Dude over here, like Johnny come lately over here. All of a sudden, he wants to fight. Every time, like, Canelo has a plan, like, oh, I want to fight. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You had your chance. H Money already done said it. Your brother came out and said, I wouldn't have ducked no Canelo fight for $15 million. That's what your brother said. Everybody knows that if Canelo's brother came out and said, hey, tú no querías la pelea con Charlo, te ofrecieron $50 millones y no la querías, cabrón. Like you already know that if Canelo's brother came out and said, you ducked Charlo and they were going to give you all this money, y'all know that shit would be everywhere. His brother said it. So you could spare me. That's what you could do. And another thing Jamal said, Canelo is the best fighter. I ain't even going to lie. He said he's the baddest motherfucker. One more thing about Charlo. One more thing. Where were you for this fight? Because at the last fight, I don't know if you guys saw it, okay, when he fought Yildirim and there was COVID restrictions, they could only sell so many tickets at the stadium. Dude, he was out there like with a stupid phone and shit. Oh, look at this, everybody, look. There's all these empty seats. Spence is a bigger star. Spence didn't have so many empty seats. Look at this. Look, empty seats everywhere. Where the fuck were you in Dallas? Where the fuck were you? Where's the video exposing the empty seats then? Jamal, now you want to fight Canelo, right? So now you want to do it? So that's all I got to say about that. Anybody have final words before we go to the next topic?
So watch him say something like, "Well, Cowboy Stadium could hold about 100,000, so there's about 30,000 empty seats." Ha ha ha! Something weird like that.
Yo, you don't know what to believe with Jamal Charlo, because when Demetrius Andre called them out, he says, "I got a promoter. You got to talk to Al Heyman. I got a manager if you want to make the fight happen. But when it comes to Canelo, I'm my own boss." Now he's openly calling out Canelo. It's like he just wants attention. He's using Canelo's name to be relevant. So Charlo, he needs to step his game up. In other words, stop capping, stop cloud chasing. They offered you the Canelo fight in the past, and you ducked it. You ducked Canelo.
Hey, you ducked the fight. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
For the record, before we go on to the next topic, I'm not saying I don't want to see that fight. That's a fight I've been wanting to see for a long time. But Undisputed over everything for me.
Hey, isn't that what all the channels? Hey, Beep, look, you've been here forever, just like me, right? We're old farts, so you've been here too. What did every fucking channel used to say about Undisputed?
I'm for Undisputed. Every channel used to say.
All of a sudden, the energy has changed. All of a sudden, nobody cares about Undisputed. All of a sudden, nobody wants to see Joshua Fury.
I have
for
to ask
what?
a question.
What do you mean for what?
I have to ask a question. I mean, everyone's complaining about the path that Canelo has to take to be undisputed. But with all due respect, has Crawford's path to be undisputed, was that very difficult down there in 140? And Dongo, with all due respect, I mean, that victory didn't age well because he lost a lot of fights after that. So Prograis beat him worse,
Yeah, we got Maestro here. I'm going to let you on, brother. Before, I know 408 and Sonteo, both of you give us some final thoughts. Sonteo, before you got to go, brother.
Final thoughts. When David Benavidez Sr. Wanted that Canelo fight, he went on every show that would give him time, whether it was on YouTube or Instagram, anywhere. He went on with people for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes up to an hour, talking about, I want Canelo for my son next. So that was some really good energy, and I hear everything you guys are saying about Charlo, but shout out to David Benavidez Sr., his dad and trainer. Thank you for having me on the panel. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat. Thanks, D-Style.
Absolutely. Shout out to you, brother. And shoot shot to everybody where they can find you, brother, before we continue, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Check me out here. I'm going to put my link here for the latest episode where my co-host Drew lost a bet to D-Styles, and he took a pie to the face. But thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure to be on the Roundtable D-Styles. Next Thursday, I'm going to be going to Vegas, and unfortunately, I didn't get tickets to that undisputed 140-pound fight that you're probably going to cover in just a little bit.
Man.
But I do look forward to covering the weigh-in. So definitely check out my channel. And if anybody on Saturday, that following Saturday, is going live, let me know. I'll be in Vegas and down to hop on one of your streams, man. And thanks for having me on, D-Style.
Absolutely. JC, I appreciate that super chat, brother. It says, dope panel, fire 100. Absolutely. Dope panel for sure. And we have Maestro on here. Before you go, Aztec 101 says, Plant, it's going to get mowed down by Canelo like yard work. Because you know what, like I remember when I would mow the lawn as a kid, right? And the grass, guess what I would do when I saw a plant that didn't belong there? You know what I mean? I was just like, you know what I mean? Like that's exactly how that fight might go down. Maestro, before we move on, bro, tell us what you think about Charlo saying he's ready in September. You know what I mean? He's saying, let's go, Canelo.
First of all, I don't know who this Maestro guy is. I mean, H Money's on the podcast, so obviously Bill Haney had to show up. You know what I mean? H Money's a huge fan of Team Haney. Mr. Done is in the house.
Maestro, what up? What up? What's good?
Anyway, sorry, D-Sal. So I'm going to have to ask you to repeat that question. My fault.
Yeah, so Charlo, he says he's ready to go in September. He's like, let's go, Canelo. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what? If Plant is not up for the fight, why not? I mean, that's actually the next guy in line I'd like to see Canelo face that's within, like, the middleweight landscape, because you can kind of include 168 in the middleweight landscape. So, yeah, I mean, my wish is to see an undisputed fight, 100%. And I think that Canelo I mean, has to be favored to become the first undisputed fighter at 168 pounds. I don't think anyone with a head and two eyes and ears thinks that Caleb Plant is going to win that fight.
What do you mean, bro? He's gonna come out a winner, bro. You know what I mean?
Probably like 3 guys in Tennessee that maybe think that, but I think everybody else is pretty much seeing Canelo win that.
Nah, bro. Like, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
Plant's gonna be a winner after that fight. You know what I mean? That's what he's gonna be.
in the
A
bank.
winner at life or something. Not the fight, but he's gonna be a winner in life. He's gonna have he's gonna have millions. You know what I mean? He's gonna be a winner. You know what I mean? He's a happily married guy. He's gonna be a winner. He's not gonna win the fight now, but he's gonna be a winner.
Yeah, I mean, he's winning the Canelo sweepstakes. He's lucky that he won the IBF title and was able to defend it against top tier talent like Mike Lee, Vincent Feigenbutz, and the 41-year-old Caleb Truax. So, I mean, he's obviously prepared for Canelo, right?
Hey, like Plant is like the worst last name to have. You're gonna fight a Mexican, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
I said it from the beginning, man. And I honestly feel it would have been a slightly better fight if this had happened, right? I said it from the beginning that the Saunders fight should have taken place as the ultimate fight. Caleb Plant should never have been the ultimate fight in Canelo's striving to become undisputed champ at 168 pounds. Personally, if I was running boxing, I would have seen Billy Joe, who's been very inactive and has like lived the life of a bad diet. In fact, his past trainer, I was listening to an interview, essentially said that part of the reason his bones might have been that brittle, obviously in addition to Canelo's punching power, is because between fights, this guy eat nothing but junk food. And he was talking about how you got to have like a lot of calcium and nutrients in your diet to have strong bones, which is everything we learn in school. So, I mean, if you're just eating fried food, saturated fat, probably saw my wife move behind me just now, you're not going to be having strong bones and stuff. Well, regardless, I would have liked to see Billy Joe and let's say a Daniel Jacobs, right? And I would have liked to see a Caleb Plant, Benavidez, right? And then, right, leading to something with Canelo. But Benavidez was overweight. He lost his title on the scales. And Plant, this is who we're left with as the final piece on the chessboard, which is pretty sad when you look at the landscape of 168. I know I've ranted on for a while, but my fault.
Yeah. Man. Canelo's going to show up with a shovel, bro. Like, I'm just telling you right now, it's a wrap for Caleb Plant, right?
Throw up some Roundup, bro. That kills him to the roots.
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now, right? Like, when I was going, like, if my mom saw one weed in the yard, I got it. You know what I mean? Hey, you better get rid of those plants. I don't want to see no weeds growing in my yard, okay? That's what plant is. Caleb Plant. Like, it's going to be in the dictionary. It's going to be like a plant that's just in the way. You know what I mean? With that said, I do want to go ahead and move on to a fight that I'm definitely looking forward to. I think it's a fight that is kind of under the radar. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but it's going to happen on Showtime this weekend. Luis Nery versus Figueroa, right? Brandon Figueroa, that is. And that's a younger brother of Omar. For those that haven't seen, basically fights the same. I just think he has slightly more power than his brother does, pound for pound. Maestro, what do you make of this fight, and who do you think is going to win?
It's funny because this is a fight that has gone really under the radar because of the Canelo fight and the fact that next week we're going to see an undisputed fight at 140, and all of the diehards and huge boxing fans have been looking forward to that. So this fight kind of sneaks in the middle of everything. I'm actually pretty happy that it's actually taking place because both of these guys are at a point in their careers where they kind of need a big fight like this on a big platform, and where they're primed, actually, I would say for a win. So this is actually a tougher one for me to actually kind of give a prediction on. I should have probably like thought about it more in detail and really focused on it. But I gotta be honest with you, man. I've been super impressed by Brandon Figueroa. It's tough to go against a guy that's got that kind of height, and who has shown that he can really hang in there with guys of like that certain level. I think Luis Nery is of that level, not necessarily elite, definitely I would say world class. And I think that Brandon Figueroa is at that level and trying to get to the elite level. So he's there, and I think that he's got the tools to beat Nery. Obviously, Nery has proven himself over many years to be a solid fighter. But I like, honestly, the height of Nery, and it's usually difficult for me to pick against a guy who's got that kind of a size advantage. And whenever I do, I end up falling flat on my face. So right now, until further notice, I got Brandon Figueroa using that height and that reach. You're muted, D.
You're on mute, D style.
My bad. Beeb, talk to us, brother.
You know, I'm not really crazy impressed with Brandon Figueroa. I don't see any dynamic factor to his style. I think he's a little stiff, little straight up. I know he's got the height and reach, and that's great, but Nery's very, very crafty. And when you match these guys up, the only advantages I give to Figueroa is his size, his height, and his reach. I think Nery hits just as hard. I think probably you can argue Nery hits harder because I think he's more explosive. I think he's got he's more fast twitchy, where Figueroa is kind of clubbish. You know what I mean? The defense, I think, with Nery, a lot of upper body movement in and out, punches and gets out of there. And he can throw quick flurries. And when he sits down on the shots, excellent body work. I have a feeling that Nery's just going to give Figueroa fits. I think he's going to give him fits. I think he's a little too cagey and crafty for him. Got the experience. And like I said, I think he's probably the harder hitter. He's faster, better footwork. The only disadvantage he has here is size. And that could be nullified with his speed, his movement, and his footwork. So I think Nery's going to pull this one out. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say Nery stops him in 10, to be honest with you. Because I think Figueroa he hits too hard. He gets hit too much. I think Nery hits too hard. And I think Figueroa, sometimes he throws those punches. He leaves his overextends a little bit, leaves those hands out there a little too long. And I think he's going to get caught with something that he doesn't see. I think he's going to get knocked out by a right hook.
So, Beeb, you're going against La Flaca. She gave us.
Say again?
H Money, talk to us, brother.
I'll call her up.
H Money, talk to us about this fight, man. Bandera versus the Heartbreaker. What do you got in this fight?
I like Luis Nery. I agree with Beeb. I think Luis Nery is a power puncher. He has a lot of skills. He's a warrior. He's been a champion for a reason. And I think Luis Nery will knock him out. Figueroa, he gets hit a lot. And if you can't box against Luis Nery, you're going to get stopped. Luis Nery, he's a pressure fighter. He's a great body puncher. Now, Figueroa, he doesn't have the skills to stay away from Luis Nery. I think it's going to be an all-out Mexican war, to be honest with you. You know, when you get two Mexican warriors together, it makes for an exciting fight. Yeah, I think Luis Nery is one of the best at 122 pounds for a reason. You know, his last fight, he didn't look his best on that Charlo undercard on that pay-per-view. He still won. You remember that fight? He lost rounds in that fight, but he still got the victory. And I think he's ready to improve. I think he's ready to make a statement because we know the winner of this fight right here will fight against Stephon Fulton in a unification bout. It's already set out. So I got to go with Nery. I think Nery wins. I think Nery has too much power. Nery knocks him out.
Yeah, that was the Aaron Alameda fight, the one you're referring to on the undercard. Chief Funky, how do you see this fight, brother?
I agree with just about what everybody said before I went. You know, I think this is going to be, as long as it lasts, it's going to be a hell of a fight. You know, we know both guys are not afraid to let their hands go, not afraid to get hit. But I agree with, you know, with what's been said already, that Figueroa's defense is just non-existent at times. You know, offensively, man, the guy doesn't mind letting the hands go, and he's going to land some leather on Eddie too. But I think at the end of the day, Eddie's too strong and too good. And Figueroa just gets hit too much, you know. But I also want to give a shout out to my boy Xavier Martinez from the 916, just like myself, will be on that card as well. And I'm wishing him nothing but the best. I'll be rooting for you.
Okay. And check this out, guys. It's not a secret that one of my favorite fighters out here is definitely, and I've been very vocal, Luis Nery. I think he's a very, very talented fighter. The skills are there. He can, like H Money described, put pressure on guys. He's good at working the body, cutting off the ring. He's good at that. He's also a really good mid-range fighter, and he's really good at fighting from the outside as well. I think he's all the above. I think he could do it all. His kryptonite is himself. He's partying late at night to 3, 4 in the morning, and then he'll delete his posts at 9 in the morning. You know what I mean? Now, we've all been there, but this is a professional fighter that does it often, right? So that's not a good sign. Oh, another thing that's not a good sign, he's not with Reynoso anymore. Reynoso just didn't want to deal with him anymore because Reynoso's still dealing with Andy Ruiz. So he must have some high tolerance for dudes, I would think, right? We're going to find out in, you know, how long he stays with Andy Ruiz, but was it a mutual breakup? Was it more like a stylistic thing, like things aren't working out? I really don't know, because it didn't seem to me like Reynoso and Nery were meshing well. It just didn't seem to me like they were. And now, could that have just been part of the process, and he would have gotten there like a Valdez did, or like maybe like Andy Ruiz is on the way there, you know? And then we saw some improvements, in my opinion, right? And beat an Olympian in his last fight, a gold medalist. You know, people could say what they want, but that was a good win for Ryan Garcia. But now he's going to be fighting Brandon Figueroa. I appreciate everyone talking about the height difference, because Brandon Figueroa, I believe, is like 5'9", something like that.
5'9", 72-inch reach.
He's a lot taller.
72-inch reach, okay, which is tall for that division, by the way.
Very
okay,
tall.
that's tall for that division.
3
but
inches.
here's the problem:
3-inch height advantage.
he don't use it.
No, it doesn't.
Brandon Figueroa, the style that these guys fight, all I got to do is look at his brother, the way he fights, because he fights very similar to his brother.
Very similar.
Okay. They never use their height, or they don't, like, all boxers throw a jab, but I never see them establishing a jab. When they get hit, the first instinct you want to throw back, and that is the worst instinct to have against a Luis Nery, because even if Luis Nery isn't 100% committed, I don't, like, people are already talking he might miss weight. I don't know. I just think that Luis Nery is going to win this fight. He hits too hard. Okay, he is a really good body puncher. If he can't, like, here's the thing: if he can't knock you out early, he'll wear you down, and if he can't wear you down, he will outbox you. Like, he has more ways to win this fight, right? So I'm gonna pick Luis Nery by late round stoppage. I do believe it'll be a great fight. I do think there'll be a lot of exchanging, right? But I think Brandon doesn't use. I have no reason to believe that he's going to be using his height and fighting behind a jab and countering, and that's not him. He doesn't fight that way.
He's going to have to if he wants to win the fight. The funny thing is, I only have been swayed slightly towards the Nery side because I've been on this show and I've heard what La Flaca has had to say about his.
Come on, I break it down better than La Flaca now. Okay, I'm just saying.
No, but we're not talking about skills.
Oh, easy there, Tiger.
we're talking about the intangibles. We're talking about things like discipline, things like being a consummate professional when you're in what is the boxing off season between your fights, right? And the stuff that La Flaca has said here on the roundtable, and that she talked about even confronting him about it and asking him, like, essentially, why are you throwing all of this away doing what you're doing? And he didn't deny it. You know what I mean?
A little propaganda.
He said he was just, he just had a war. He wanted to relax. You
gotta let people unwind on the downtime. You gotta let people unwind on their downtime.
So absent of these facts, Nery all day. With these facts plus the plus 200, I got to consult with my betting guy. Betting with the Beeb. He's always got the good insights, obviously. Shout out to my man, Joe Habib. Plus 200, is that a bad bet, Joe?
For Brandon Figueroa?
For Brandon Figueroa.
We're going to take the stoppage proposition. We're going to take Nery with the stoppage. We're just going to take the stoppage proposition with Nery. Because Nery's going to knock him out. The skill gap is too great.
Yeah.
Skill gap's too great.
Hey, I agree. The power.
This is what I told people, and I don't mean to change the subject, but people were talking about Fury Wilder, and they were saying, oh, well, this ain't going to be Fury at his best. I said, even a 70% Fury beats a Wilder. Even a 70% Nery beats Brandon Figueroa, and I don't mean any disrespect.
Bro, I've been swayed.
Professor.
I've been swayed. He's gone plant-based. He's really focused on
that's a bad sign.
He's going to bed at 8 p.m. every night, and I've been swayed.
It's a bad side. Too early.
Let me ask you guys this.
For Nery.
Just to stay on the Nery, because we're going to talk a lot about AJ Fury in a moment. So, but as far as Nery Figueroa, does anyone see him no longer being with Reynoso as a red flag, or do you believe it was maybe just a mutual kind of separation?
I'll say this, because Nery is the type of guy where he's unorthodox. Reynoso is not. He's by the book type, textbook type boxing. Maybe Nery's more of a Roy Jones type style boxer. That's his mentality. And maybe he was being told to switch things up, be a little bit more methodical or whatever. And that's not how he is. He's got a little bit of Roy Jones, a little bit of Prince Nassim in him. And maybe Reynoso was trying to take that out of him a little bit. Possibly. It's just I could be wrong. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, and by the way, Figueroa, he's the Shawn Michaels of boxing. He's a heartbreak kid. Shout out.
Mike Carpenter in the house.
But I will say, though, he might hit him with that switch-in music.
Sources.
He does have a better hook than his brother. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
It is a dangerous hook. Nery does have to be careful with that, but I just think it's as simple as keeping his hands up. I'm not trying to be trivial, but I think if he does that, he should be fine.
Chin's way up in the air, too.
Aaron Alameda was an undefeated 25-0 fighter, and we'll see how this win of Nery ages, because Aaron Alameda is going to be fighting Angelo Leo next. So we're so it might be a win that we're like, you know what? Maybe Nery didn't look bad. He just fought somebody that was really good. Plus, I just think he took his time. I think he was listening to Reynoso's instructions, and maybe it just didn't work out.
Do you think even if Nery isn't at his best, which he probably will be for this fight, but even if he's a little bit off, don't you think the skill gap is so much greater in his favor that it doesn't really matter? That's
and Figueroa gets hit too much for a guy like Nery.
I just think the skill gap is too great.
Is Nery a PBC fighter?
Let me just say this, Maestro.
Yes, he is.
Before I let you go, because let me just say this to you, Maestro. If Brandon comes out and does something I never seen his brother do and I never seen him do, and they haven't switched, all of a sudden he's boxing behind, he's on his toes and he's jabbing and he's, countering from the outside using his height, I will be the most shocked person on earth if he does that and does it effectively.
That's not going to happen.
Proposition.
I think that's the only way he even comes close to the possibility of winning this fight.
I don't know, because that's not what he does. Like you don't want to, Nery's not the guy you try something new with.
If he goes toe to toe and fights on the inside with Nery, it's Nery all day. And it's Nery.
He might have even if you think it's a 30-20% chance, you'll have a chance. When a boxer does something that he's not used to doing, their chances are out the window, bro. That's just my opinion. But
he's gonna get lulled. He's gonna get lulled into a slugfest that he can't win. I'm just telling you that. This is what we got. This is what we have to do, Maestro. We have to just take Nery with the stoppage proposition. That's what we have to do here.
Go ahead, G-Funk. You were going to say something?
Don't try to get too creative here. Don't get try to get too creative.
As long as he doesn't come out with that weird herky-jerky defense that his brother had on the Andy Ruiz undercard, he should be okay to go some rounds, you know. But that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. Not gonna lie to you.
Why not, bro? Like he was trying to hypnotize his opponent. You know what I mean? Calix, how's it going, brother?
Good. Is that like when Berto started experimenting with the shoulder roll? Remember
That's
that?
exactly what it is.
Shoulder roll experiment.
Please don't bring that up, bro. Like, why are you going to do Andre Berto like that? People forgetting about that.
I like Berto. I like Berto, but didn't work.
You know what I mean? He had the elbow sticking out too. That was a crazy part of the way he was doing it. Hey, really quick, Calix, Nery Figueroa.
I like Nery, but Figueroa is a live dog as far as the betting odds. He's plus 197. It's eerily similar to Taylor Ramires betting odds. And what they're seeing is if it's lulled into a war, if this goes into a war of attrition, you never know. But Nery clearly the more diverse fighter with a wider array of skills, who has a wider pathway to victory. Figueroa is a narrow pathway to victory, but he's still a live dog as far as the betting odds. It's going to be a good fight, but Nery's going to be too much, in my opinion. He has too much for him.
By the way, guys, just confirmed Hannah Gabriels will be on HCP on Tuesday. So awesome. Shout out to her. Okay, 175 pounds. Just recently won a title there. H1, do you have any final words on this, brother, before we go to the next topic?
Not really, but I like 122 pounds right now. You got Stephon Fulton, who's a champion. You got Luis Nery, and the unified champion who beat Daniel Roman, Murajan Akhmadiev. I think he's the best one out of them all. I like MJ. He's a hell of.
You muted yourself there, H Money. Are you done?
Yeah, you heard me. I like MJ, Murajan Akhmadiev. I think he's the best at 122 pounds. But the winner of this fight will fight against Stephon Fulton in a unification bout. It's already set.
That's right. Hey, shout out to the 915. G fucking thought only 916 was being represented in the chat, but shout out to G Money 915. You know what I mean? El Paso, stand up. But yeah, there we go. Hey guys, I want to talk about this. So supposedly, we have a date now, August 14th. August 14th is the date, okay?
August 14th next year, right, Beeb?
Next year.
Fury versus AJ, August 14th. I did not give a year. Maybe it is 2022 or 2023. Who knows? But apparently there's a date now. I want to let H Money go with this first. Is this fight happening? Are we going to get AJ versus Fury for Undisputed, H Money?
I hope so. Boxing needs this fight. We need an undisputed heavyweight champion. We haven't had one since Lennox Lewis. Now, Tyson Fury, undefeated, 2-time Ring Magazine heavyweight champion. The only heavyweight to have every belt in the division. Tyson Fury, coming off his biggest victory against Deontay Wilder when he dominated Deontay Wilder, destroyed him, took his heart, took his soul. Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko in Germany, in his backyard. Tyson Fury wants to fight. He's been training. Anthony Joshua been quiet. Eddie Hearn been doing all of the talking for AJ. AJ, when are you going to step in the ring with another number one? Let's get an undisputed champion. The pressure is on Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury been in there with the best. He beat the best. I'm waiting for Anthony Joshua to step in the ring with a number one heavyweight. Okay? And Tyson Fury done it already. He's proven. Anthony Joshua is a great champion as well. I respect Anthony Joshua, but I think it's about time he takes a chance. It's about time he risks it all, okay? And the way you do it is by fighting Tyson Fury. Stop hiding behind the promoters. Stop hiding behind Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn been doing a lot of talking. We need a date. We got a date, okay? We got the date. Now, they said August 14th. That's good news. But Eddie Hearn promised us an official announcement this week. He said it's 100%. We gonna get an announcement. Frank Warren said we need proof of funds. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I hope we get this fight, man. I hope I hope the fight happens. I got Tyson Fury dominating Anthony Joshua. I think Tyson Fury gonna stop him. Anthony Joshua been stopped before. He's been stopped before. Tyson Fury is in guerrilla mode right now. He's a savage. He's gonna walk down Anthony Joshua. He gonna beat him down. He gonna make him quit. He gonna make him quit. Fury all day, baby. Fury, Fury, Fury.
Woo! That is H Money, Mr. DAZN. Hey, Maestro.
He's on the money. We got to change his name because he's on the motherfucking money.
Hey.
Perfect prediction of what is going to happen.
Well, I don't know about that, but it sounded great, though. You know what I mean? Like it hyped me up, even though I didn't agree with the breakdown, but it hyped me up. But Maestro, you got to follow it up. Go ahead and talk to us. Is Fury actually going to happen on August 14th, 2021, by the way, 2021? Is the fight going to happen, Maestro?
I don't know. I don't have confidence in what Eddie Hearn is saying at this point because flashback, first it was June. Flashback number 2, then it was July. Flashback number 3, then it was late July. Maybe we might conflict with the Olympics and, Rob McCracken is the Olympic coach and I don't know how that's going to work. And is he going to support Joshua or is he going to, support the Olympic team? Now, all of a sudden it's August. I mean, there's as much of a chance of the next announcement being in September as this fight taking place in August. I'd actually say it's probably more likely if they put betting odds with Beeb. I got to consult with my man down there right that way, betting with the Beeb, right? What are the lines on does this fight happen in August? They got to be low. In England, you can literally bet on anything. You can bet on which cockroach is going to cross the street faster.
It's a plus 10,000.
Plus 10,000. There you go. So as to what do I think is going to happen in the fight? Well, you know what? Steel sharpens steel. And we all saw what Tyson Fury did in Las Vegas by walking down and stopping Deontay Wilder. And I don't want to hear you saying, oh, it was Mark Breland. Oh, Deontay Wilder was drinking some water or Tyson.
Hey, bro, come on, bro. That shoe was too heavy, brother. You know what I mean?
It was too heavy. My trainer actually is a Kronk trainer and was against me the whole time and spying. Look, none of that. One thing I will give credit for.
Can somebody tell him that Malik Scott trained on Kronk too? Just saying.
There you go. One thing I'll give credit to Joshua for, that dude could take an ass beating like a man.
The fix is in.
He took a huge ass beating here in New York City, and he took it on the chin. He's wearing his towel over the head afterwards and giving all kind of congratulations to Andy Ruiz, right? And since then, it's been passive Joshua, boxing and moving, staying on the back foot, not wanting to engage. If he does that against Tyson Fury, it's all the way what H Money just said. He's not winning that kind of a fight with the Gypsy King. I'm just saying it. And if he tries to go on the inside, he's getting manhandled, just like Deontay Wilder did. So, I understand D-style. Your name starts with a D. Deontay Wilder starts with a D. Just
Woo!
Similar, like
what it is? Is that what it is?
Over there, because other than that, I don't understand why you'd be riding with Deontay and asking for a third fight, and now saying that AJ is gonna beat Fury. I just don't get it.
All right, just wait till it's my turn. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, Kellex, talk to us. They're saying that they put a date out there, August 14th. Aram has already come out saying he's optimistic now that the fight might happen. Don't shake your head yet, Beeb. I'm gonna get you. You know what I mean? And like Aram said it, bro. Like,
I got something in my eye.
And then the other guy, what's his name from the UK, the promoter, what's his name again?
Frank Warren.
Warren was like, yeah, we feel very, very, very,
fish
very,
eyes.
whatever.
Oh,
That's
fish
not even
eyes.
a British accent. That's like an Arab accent. But anyway, Calix, is this fight gonna happen, brother?
When Coppinger came out and said this fight is going to happen, that's all I needed to hear. It's going to happen, right, Beeb? That guy is always right. But no, look, even with Coppinger jinxing this fight, because that guy is always wrong with his sources, I've always been optimistic that this fight's going to happen this year. I don't know why, just optimistic. I think there's too much money on the table for it to pass by. Whether it happens in August or not, I don't know. But when Arum came out today and was finally speaking positively about the fight happening in August, it seems more than likely that it will. And too much money on the table. And this is the biggest fight that can be made in boxing. We need an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And that was always my issue. And I'm going to speak on it again. Bieber disagrees with me. D-Style disagrees with me. I hated when Vitaly and Vlad wouldn't fight each other. I understand it, but I didn't like the two-headed monster heavyweight division for all those years. We need an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. We need a baddest man on the planet. And finally, we're going to get it if this fight happens. And it's going to be Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is going to completely outclass AJ, and I don't think it's going to be by knockout. I think it's going to be a different style fight than the second Wilder fight. I think he's just going to outclass him, much like Klitschko, Fury versus Klitschko.
You know,
much like Fury versus Klitschko, I think it's going to be like a 9-3, 10-2 performance for Fury, and he's going to just outclass AJ. And I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more of a letdown of a fight. I think Fury's going to outclass him so much that people are going to get bored with it. But it's the biggest fight that can be made in boxing, and it needs to happen. We need the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and this fight will happen. I do believe it will happen.
Let's definitely do a shout out to, again, a Terrible Terry, Savage Native. What about me, Stephen, the Method in Madness, Tony Boswell, Matt Shad, Ignorant Boxing, JC, Sonteo Media. Speaking of Sonteo Media, okay, before I go to G Funky here, just shout out to my Sonteo Media clipboard.
That's
and look at
beautiful.
the Four Kings as well.
That's
You know what I mean? And all that good stuff. Right. But with that said, are we going to get this fight, Chief Funky? Well, what do you think? Are you optimistic? Are you making plans? Have you already made reservations? You're going to get the carne asada, right? Carne asada, August 14th, pool party at Chief Funky's.
Absolutely, man. It's going down. I think it's going to happen now, man. We finally got old man Bob to say something positive about these negotiations. He said he's optimistic today. That's huge compared to what he said a couple weeks ago when he said the fight is dead in the water. It's not going to happen. The Saudis, they got funny money over there, whatever he was saying, you know. I think it's going to happen, and I'm happy because, like Calix said, I agree 100%. We need an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world for boxing. And, you know, no disrespect to Deontay Wilder. I do believe he deserves a third fight with Fury, you know, but undisputed over everything first, baby. That's what I'm all about, and that's what I want to see. I'm not going to say who I think is going to win yet because the fight's not official. You know, when they come out and announce it as official, then I'll start to think about it and I'll drop my prediction video. But I don't like to say, you know, make predictions when fights aren't official yet, unless it's like one of those gimme fights. But this is a great fight, very intriguing, very close fight. I think it's going to be very close and competitive. And I can't wait to see it, man. Let's get this thing done. I'm ready for the announcement.
Can I ask you a question, Funky?
You can after Beeb goes. Reserve, like hold that thought, and then we'll go. Beeb, talk to us. Is this fight gonna happen? I know you're pumped, Beeb. I know you're already reserving the date. Like you're already getting ready. Like I know, like you have marked your calendar August 14th.
The thing is, you know, every Thursday before I click the link, about an hour before the show, I pour myself a nice cool glass of truth serum. So I have to tell the truth. Because when I drink that glass of truth serum, it doesn't allow me to lie. I can't say what I want to happen. I can't say what I need to happen. I have to say what I think is really going to happen. Okay? I can't be optimistic. I can't be pessimistic. I have to be realistic. That was pretty cool. All right, so
nice.
The thing is this. There's a lot of little things going on behind the scenes. A lot of little things going on behind the scenes. But just how little are they? Proof of funds, that's one thing. Now I'm hearing that there's a lot of other things, like Fury side's not happy with Saudi having so much control over every little thing on how this promotion and how the fight and all the little idiosyncrasies leading up to the fight, they have too much control over the event. And they're not happy with that. Eddie's very secure with this group because he's done business with them before. But Bob Arum and Frank Warren and Tyson Fury have not. They're talking about building this stadium, but in August, it's very cold in Saudi Arabia. It's like 22 degrees. So they were able to build that stadium quick for the Ruiz fight because it was an outdoor stadium. But now they're going to have to build a more suitable stadium for the cold weather. Obviously, it's going to have to be, a lot more work's going to have to go into it because it can't be open because it's cold, right? Mm. I just think there's not enough time to get this done. So this fight will definitely happen next year.
Man. So August 14th of 2022?
Yes. Not 2021.
That might be on a Thursday or something, but either way,
I think Wilder Fury 3 is going to happen.
Hey, I mean, look, like we just had Maestro tell me that, you're a Wilder fan because you're saying that fight might happen.
The arbitration, they're going to have a ruling on the arbitration on Monday.
Okay. So is it fair to say that maybe that's the only thing keeping the fight from being announced?
That's what I was going to ask. Do you
There's
think
a lot
that's
of
why?
I believe that arbitration. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Calix. I believe that arbitration has a lot more to do with it than they're leading on, because why are they waiting till Monday? How convenient is that they're waiting now? Now they're saying, we have to wait till Monday, and that's when the announcement of the decision of the arbitration is going to come through. But then listening to Gareth Davis. He made a lot of good points. And Frank Warren kept saying, all throughout that, Tyson has to be happy with this. We have to be happy with this. There's a lot of things that we still need to work out. If you have a lot of little things can equal one big thing. When you have a lot of issues, a lot of little issues here and there, that adds up. Go ahead, Calix.
Did I hear this right? Do they have to build an indoor stadium by August? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Yeah.
So it's 40. It's like 40 plus degrees.
No, 20. It's 20 degrees. 20 degrees.
Hold up. It's like 40. 40 plus degrees Celsius, up to 50 degrees Celsius, which is like well over 120 degrees, dog, in the middle of the summer in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how you would put that fight outside. I mean, it wouldn't be possible. When they hosted the World Cup in the Middle East, they literally had to create brand new stadiums that could accommodate indoor air conditioning for a football match, soccer match. So I've been agreeing with Joe, and Joe is agreeing with me. In fact, Joe is like even further than me on this in terms of the skepticism about this fight taking place. And there's so many reasons why. Last thing I want to say is, look, I bought a new home today, which is why I was late to the show. It took months of back and forth between
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Seller and seller's attorney, buyer's attorney, co-op board here in New York. And this isn't a deal worth like $100+ million.
Yeah,
it's just a home sale. You know what I mean?
It gets as high as 130 degrees Fahrenheit in June.
That's what I'm saying. 50.
So they can't do this in an outdoor stadium. They did it in December in an outdoor stadium because it was cooler. Mm-hmm. They gotta enclose this and put AC in there.
And they're going to build that.
It's a big project. I'm telling you right now, it's a big project.
Build that in Saudi Arabia between now and August.
Yeah, it's not happening, bro.
I mean, I know it was all kind of slave labor from the.
If you don't mind me asking, what happened to the stadium that they already had built? Didn't they build a stadium for Ruiz?
Yeah, but that's an outdoor one, D-style.
And it was temporary.
They took it down afterwards.
So they'll just build another temporary one. They've done it before.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be an outdoor one. It's gonna be an enclosed one. It's gonna take more work.
Well, maybe they'll make it in Wakanda or something, or Gotham City.
I mean, it would have to be a place in like a convention center or something that they already have set up with air conditioning. Because you think Vegas is hot in the summertime? It's got nothing on the Mideast, like the Persian Gulf. It's very hot out there.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, then just sign to fight and fight in December. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just get it done, because you know what's going to happen? He's just going to win that fight, brothers. I'm just telling you that right now. Like I'm just letting you know right now, because you could tell me all day, oh, he put pressure on Wilder, knocked out Wilder. Okay, like does Wilder have a hook like AJ? No. Does he have an uppercut like AJ? No. And don't tell me he's not going to use the uppercut, because hey, Chief, fuck you. What did Billy Joe Saunders do that Tyson Fury does a lot?
He likes to bend at the waist to avoid shots.
Like, there you go. So don't tell me you can't use that uppercut now. Apparently, uppercuts work really nice on gypsies. Apparently, that's what Canelo taught us.
Whoa, you can't say that.
You know what I mean? It's like, yo, we got the krypton now. We found something.
Statement.
You know what I
That's
mean?
a bigoted statement. You can't make bigoted statements.
And what's AJ's most vicious punch? He has a lot of good punches, but what's the most vicious one? The uppercut. Styles make fights.
Most vicious punch I've ever seen.
AJ is used to neutralizing one thing from fighters and forcing them to use other punches. This dude's got other punches. Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you right now.
Get away with that. I cannot let you get away with that.
Go ahead.
You've been addressing the Canelo haters all week, and I agree with you. There's a lot of Canelo haters out there. But you just became a Canelo hater trying to compare Canelo's uppercut to AJ's uppercut.
What's wrong with AJ's uppercut? It took out Vladimir Klitschko, brother. What's wrong with his uppercut?
Took out which Vladimir Klitschko?
There's only one that I know of.
Right. You're talking about the overaged, gassed out, extremely tired Vladimir Klitschko, who couldn't get up as much due to his fatigue as anything else. Anyone who saw that fight knew that the 40-plus-year-old Vladimir Klitschko was fatiguing like crazy.
Oh. If we're going to call him old, then you're taking away Fury's win over him too.
Taking Fury's
Wait, but when Fury beat him, D-Style, he was a champion for 7 straight years. He was a champion for 7 years. Now, for 10 years, unified champion. So when AJ beat him, he wasn't a champion no more. He was out the ring for 18 months. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. He was already dethroned by Fury.
He lost his
shout out to Lisa Ball. She's saying put respect in AJ's name. Okay, that's a comment of the night. Okay, if I can leave that comment.
I think Fury's going to win. I don't even have to defend my pick, but I don't want to disrespect AJ. I'm not gonna disrespect AJ. No. I mean, it's not fun. I'm not gonna kick him in when he's down. So if he's gonna get knocked out. I don't want to kick him
down. He's on top of the world right now. He ain't down. He's on top of the world.
That's why I want to let him enjoy it now. I want to let him enjoy it now because I don't,
you know what I mean.
He's gonna be lonely. But he's gonna be lonely.
Who has more belts, AJ or Fury?
Fury does. Fury does.
Championship.
If you go in Fury's trophy case, he's got more belts than Joshua.
Okay, we're gonna count the WWE belt.
Of course we are. We're gonna count all the belts.
Did he win the WWE belt? I don't remember. But,
hasn't Fury had every single heavyweight title belt?
Every belt from
everyone.
IBO, WBC. AJ never had the WBC.
AJ never. Fury had the ring belt twice. The one that Rocky Balboa won. The one that Rocky Balboa beat Clubber Lang for. He had the ring belt.
Facts.
And he won it twice. He got two
undefeated Tyson
hanging over his fireplace right now as we speak. He's got 2 rings.
Fury's the real champ.
Hanging over his fireplace in friggin' London.
Look, D-Style, when
AJ
Fury is
got Fury
right,
belts.
when Fury is right, he's the best heavyweight in the world, and I don't even think it's that close. And not only that, he's a guy who fights better as the stakes get higher, as the bright lights get brighter. And you're talking about the biggest fight in boxing right now, so he's going to show up. He's going to show up. And not only that, there is no fighter in the history of boxing who hides egg weights in gloves better than Tyson Fury. Okay,
Sure.
so we got that going for us too.
Now, check this out.
He
Right?
must know some gypsy magic.
He's
He did
double
something
jointed.
with water,
He's
you know what I mean?
double
David
jointed.
Copperfield.
He's double jointed in his wrists.
You know,
Thank,
Just
hey,
so
thank
I know.
God! Thank God they're checking gloves now because they never did that before.
for a few weeks, I've been
We have
wondering.
people that believe. Hold on. I like what you fucking just said because it's true. We have content creators out here, right, that are saying things like, man, you see how they're checking the gloves? They never did that before Fury cheated. Like,
This is true. This is all true, man.
I'm an avid follower of D-Style Boxing.
Sure.
Subscribe, hit that like button, make sure you jab that notification little icon there, make sure you're up to date like me. So, I'm supposed to be doing other things. I'm supposed to be working and doing important things during the day. D-Style goes live, I'm tuning in, like a loyal follower. So this week I'm listening to D-Style Boxing, and somebody in the chat, I forget who, asked D-Style if he hates any fighters. Who does D-Style Boxing hate? Wait a second.
I'm transparent about it, right?
Mr. Chatman brought out the truth from D-Style because D-Style dropped one name and one name only, and there's only one Tyson Fury. D-Style seems to hate Tyson Fury.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him very much. You know what I mean?
He's a people's champion, though. He's a people's champion. He's
know?
battled for all of us. People suffering from depression, people that have mental health issues. He's come
shout
back
out
from
to,
the depths of destruction.
Shout out to Lisa, who's keeping it real about AJ. You know what I mean? The only one keeping it real around here. Phil Walker. I don't hate him. I just don't like him very much. It's kind of annoying. He doesn't annoy you. Doesn't he have like an annoying personality? It's kind of annoying.
I love him. I can hang out. He's the type of guy I can hang out with all day, man. I'm not even lying.
So are we really gonna not get this big giant fight and these guys get paid the biggest purse ever because of weather? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm sorry, G Funky. There's a lot
We're talking
more
about
to it.
weather.
There's a lot more to it than weather.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Mi raza works outside in that kind of weather all the time. You tell me these guys can make millions of dollars and do it for 30 minutes? Come on, man.
You're
And it's hope no
Don't get me started because we were out playing the Netherlands in the World Cup, okay? And they were tired. They were running out of energy. The Mexicans were closing in, and all of a sudden they had a break. They had a water break in late in the game. Like, we're gonna take a water break, everybody. And they gave them water. They let them like quench their thirst, and then they came back and scored a fucking goal. But that's a different story, okay?
That was in an air-conditioned stadium too.
Why ain't it our fault the Netherlands dude's gonna keep up? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Salty.
But with that said,
like mermaid coochie.
you don't want to address a milk card like or H Money or Beeb, any you don't want to address the fact that AJ is not a one-dimensional fighter like Wilder. Like he can't just time
AJ is not good defensively. I don't think he's solid defensively. I think he's got a very lazy jab. He can't fight a lick on the inside, and he's a mid-range guy. I think Fury's a better outside fighter. He's a better inside fighter. I think he's a lot difficult in terms of like awkward when he lays on you. He wears you out. He's more physical than Joshua is.
We're going to get a ref that's going to break it up immediately. Don't worry about it.
Really.
You know what I mean?
We have Steve Smoger there. Steve Smoger. He lets everything happen.
The moment he
Steve Smoger lets you drop elbows.
Like the moment he tries to Greco-Roman, we're going to break it up. I'm saying
they didn't break it up in the Wilder fight. He was throwing Wilder around like a rag doll.
I'm gonna agree with something D-Style said.
It was a corrupt ref. Remember this set?
AJ is multifaceted.
Offensively, not defensively.
He is dynamic.
Offensively.
He took an ass whooping from Andy Ruiz in multiple ways. He took a ass beating with a hook.
Different type of fighter.
with an uppercut, and his response, Joe Habib, did his response remind you at all of Louis Rahman 2? I don't know. Did it?
No.
Or did it remind you more of the final rounds of De La Hoya Trinidad?
De La Hoya Trinidad.
Oh, yes.
It reminded me
De
of
La
the
Hoya Trinidad.
of De La Hoya Trinidad with AJ.
He was on that.
AJ
First
doing
of all, I
that was
honestly
negative.
believe this.
That's being negative.
Look.
well,
I do believe that Andy Ruiz's style is a style that's always going to give a guy like Joshua problems. But Andy Ruiz is a completely different type of fighter and different style than Fury. The things that gave AJ problems in that fight do not apply to Fury. None of them.
we gave him problems. Tenacity, getting up off the floor. In Fury's case, like the Undertaker. In Andy Ruiz's case, you know, he took that knockdown like a Julio Cesar Chavez, got right back up, fought back. But the two things there are tough.
Beat that ass.
Fury's got a good right hand too, and then Joshua gets hit with right hands
It's
like
a
crazy.
different type of fighter, is all I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a different type of fighter.
It's
And Andy Ruiz is different than Fury. It's not like Fury's going to have to beat him another way. He's not going to beat him the way. He's not like going to be taking punches and then landing back to beat him.
He's gonna smother him on the inside.
So not only that, he has a look. One, he's got a chin. Like Andy Ruiz could take a punch. He could take a lot of punches that I don't think Fury would be able to take. I'm sorry. Like with that high center of gravity, he's going to go down. Just like when a cruiserweight, Steve Cunningham, almost beat him by knockout. Okay, that's the last time he fought somebody that is at least a little multifaceted in the ring. That's the last time he fought somebody like that.
Now, you said that before. You keep bringing
true
Cunningham fight. What was AJ doing at the time of the Cunningham fight?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does matter because you're saying that Fury cannot improve over that time, but AJ.
No. You can't improve your chin, brother.
It was a
chin
flash.
never improves.
Hold up. AJ, boxer at that
Flash knockdown.
probably
The
grabbed
flash knockdown.
Okay. After Maestro, go H-Man and then Calix. But go ahead.
You're acting as if since that fight with Cunningham, not Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury hasn't improved at all. When he was knocked down by Cunningham, AJ was barely an amateur boxer.
Cruiserweight, brother.
It doesn't matter.
AJ's been knocked down more times than Fury has.
Down by Cunningham at that point.
AJ kissed the canvas more times. Look, Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is.
He's never been knocked down. Like all I hear is like, oh, Usyk stands no shot. He's a cruiserweight. He's small, but like Cunningham almost knocked him out.
It was a flash knockdown. He got right up.
But he got right back up.
That was not a flash.
Let me say this. He got right back up.
Go ahead, H-Money.
Knocked down.
Who hits harder? Wilder or Joshua? Who hits harder with the right hand? Joshua or Wilder?
Wilder.
Okay.
But Wilder set it up better and landed more.
Right. Honestly, Wilder with the right hand.
Yeah.
Wilder. Wilder set the right hand.
Go ahead, H-Money.
He's landed it several times.
Yeah.
H-Money, go ahead.
Yeah. See, the thing is this, D-Style, in that Steve Cunningham fight, Tyson Fury got right back up, walked down Steve Cunningham, and knocked him out. Finished him. Destroyed Cunningham. And what Cunningham said, he's a cheater. He started crying and started making excuses because Fury destroyed that man. Fury destroyed Cunningham. Now, D-Style, Tyson Fury has a way better chin than Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury been in there with the hardest puncher in boxing, took his best shot, got back up. We seen Andy Ruiz against Andy Ruiz finished Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury never been stopped. So Anthony Joshua got hurt on the inside against Andy Ruiz. It was on the inside. Now Tyson Fury is going to walk him down. Sugar Hill already said it. He said, we're going to do the same thing to Joshua that we did to Wilder. And what that is, walk him down and bang him out and finish him off. Maul him. Mauling tactics. Dirty style fighting. You know what I mean? Rough and tough. AJ is not built like that. AJ, he doesn't have the heart, bro. He doesn't have it. We seen him check out against Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz came out of nowhere. Andy Ruiz was a nobody. He wasn't even ranked in the top 10, and he stopped Anthony Joshua like that. You know what I mean? So Tyson Fury, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Let Calix go. He's been waiting, bro. So let's just go ahead, Calix.
No, I was going to make the same.
Okay.
I was going to make the same points. I had many of the same questions as you, D-Style, after the Cunningham fight about his chin, but throughout his career and resoundingly so after the first Wilder fight, he answered that question. You're taking punches from the biggest puncher in boxing, and fair point that he doesn't set up his punches as well as Joshua. That's a fair point. However, he took a lot of right hands against Wilder in that first fight, and he took them well. And also, the other point I would make is Joshua is very robotic, much like Klitschko was robotic. And when you have a guy coming straight forward, straight lines like that, he's going to have to really yuck this fight up on the inside to give himself a shot to go to full 12. And I think he will go to full 12 and yuck up the fight, but he's not going to be able to win rounds against Fury, who is a much more free-flowing fighter and can do more things in the ring to win this fight. So I just like Fury, but the fact that you're still questioning his chin after that first Wilder fight, that part I don't get. The Cunningham questions have been answered. It's been answered.
It's insane.
Some people even argued he got knocked out. You know?
Cunningham still has sour grapes over that fight. He's the only guy seen that come out and try to say, yeah, you could have your hand in the wrist area and punch and do damage. Like, get the fuck out of here.
No, look. Obviously, look, I'm taking it all in. Like, 100%. He beat the fuck out of a cruiserweight in Cunningham. I mean, I would think that is what he's supposed to do, right? He did, and props to him. I thought at the time I actually thought it was a good win. You know, by the way, Nassim Richardson was in the corner of Cunningham. For anybody who wants to talk about the raps and all that, so if anybody would have caught it, it would have been Richardson, right? Mm-hmm. You know, just throwing it out there. But what I will say is, I think you guys are underestimating what AJ brings to the table. It's got to be honest with you guys. You're underestimated hard. You're putting too much stock on what Andy Ruiz did and accomplished, and trying to like even if you think Fury's a better fighter than Ruiz, and I think most do, right? It's still a different style to Ruiz. He doesn't have the fast hands like a Ruiz. He doesn't have the ability to rechamber as quick as a Ruiz does. And Ruiz took a lot of big shots in that fight that I just don't believe. It's not about questioning the chin. I just think Andy Ruiz having no neck and having a low center of gravity allows him, to take more punishment than your average fighter, because Ruiz has never been knocked out. I mean, knocked out by no cruiserweight. You know what I mean?
Almost got knocked out by Areola.
Yeah. Areola dropped him.
That was
Areola past his prime.
Looked like he was out,
but he got hurt in the next round. He got hurt again in the next round. Now I want to make
AJ dropped him 2
points on this one. Number one, D-Style. You're making all of these excuses for Joshua getting knocked out.
I'm making no excuses because I was proud of Ruiz. That was a good win by Ruiz. That wasn't AJ. I'm sorry, that wasn't Fury.
Did a 41-year-old Chris Areola get beaten from pillar to post like Joshua did?
What do you mean?
No, sir.
Answer is no. That's the clear answer. No,
because Areola.
Guys, you can't. I see what you're doing, Maestro. But look. He was hit with a punch in the third round that threw out his equilibrium, bro. Like, you got to factor that in. It's not like he just beat him up like a healthy AJ was getting beat up from pillar to post. No, he wasn't all there, bro. He was wobbly for the rest of the fight.
It was a lucky punch. I got one more question for D-Style.
Nevada Wallen almost stopped them. If they would have stopped that fight by a cut, acting like AJ has no shot is ridiculous.
He's a warrior. He's a warrior, Fury. He can do anything.
One more.
Any cuts.
I know H Money wants to get in. I got one more question for D-Style. Please explain to me how Anthony Joshua is better than Jameel McCline or actually just leave it at Jameel McCline. Because I watched his fight against Lance Goofy Whitaker the other night. I don't think that guy's any worse than AJ. How is AJ better than that dude? How is he better than Michael Grant? He's that kind of guy. He's a tall, athletic.
You're making an argument that the heavyweight division, it's a weak era for the heavyweight division.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
No, but that's the argument you're making. I have no idea what that has to do with Fury, who's participating in this era. You know what I mean? I think Fury would be weak in other eras too, so that's irrelevant to me.
He's head and shoulders above the rest of them, though.
I'll tell you why it's relevant. Because Fury schools Michael Grant.
He didn't school Wallen. Did he take Wallen to school?
Yeah, beat him 9 rounds to 3.
But did he take him to school though? Did he say, "Man, that was a boxing lesson"?
He didn't look around, and he had a fucking.
He was getting hit a lot in that fight, brother. It's hard to tell you.
Who's around? How many
most people would have quit.
9 rounds to 3.
Rounds
most people would have quit with that cut. He showed heart with that cut. D-Style. Most guys would have checked out in that fight. He fought the 12 rounds with that nasty cut. Most people would have quit. Fury showed tremendous heart, and he still won the fight, bro. That's heart right there, D-Style.
Every round.
I'm not denying that he showed heart and that he finished the fight. What I'm saying is, if he had a fight like that with Wallen, and now I understand the argument would be no, but he picks up, his game, the better opposition he fights. Okay. But, I could only take it for what it is, right? If A. Wallen, who, I don't think does anything better than AJ, gave him some he was winning some of those rounds before the cut. Let's not act like he wasn't. Okay?
No, he
was. No, he was landing clean shots. If that was AJ, I said to myself, he could be
117 to 111, 118 to 110, and 116 to 112.
It wasn't AJ. D-Style, that's like
116, 112. That's 4 rounds.
The fans scored at 117 to 111. The average fan scorecard was 9 rounds to 3.
Just because you're edging out rounds doesn't mean you're not in trouble in there. Like if he would have landed another shot on that cut, they could stop it.
Everybody has problems. Everybody has trouble. But was it catastrophic problems? What is it? Catastrophic.
I think it was.
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. And D-Style, you saying that, he got hit by Wallin, therefore he's going to get
laced.
Fury.
He got laced with the guy's gloves. He got cut. Got laced.
Boxers,
guys.
No.
Laced.
Boxers know when they can take a punch from a certain fighter and
get cut.
Fight from another fighter. There was a reason Canelo did not fight Billy Joe the way he would.
I can't wait for this fight. I hope it happens.
He would have fought a power puncher. There just is.
You guys think like he's just gonna be sitting there, like, and if you're just gonna tee off on him, it's gonna be easy work, and then he's gonna like they just dominate him. Like you really believe that? That's amazing to me.
Who's better defensively, Fury or Joshua? Who's a better defensive fighter?
I would say Fury because he kind of has.
Who's a better inside fighter, Fury or Joshua?
Fury, but Fury doesn't really.
Who's a better outside fighter?
But it's a different type of inside fighting than. No, hold on, it's a relevant point.
Like
when Anthony Ruiz fights on the inside, he's going at the torso, he's throwing combinations like that. You know what I mean?
He's a more volume
is
guy.
a mauler. He tries to maul guys.
Yeah.
Like
he's more of a volume guy.
Fight him, and if a ref they're gonna make sure a ref is not gonna let him do that.
You don't know
okay?
that.
He has more A-side privilege than anybody else Fury has fought. They're not gonna get a ref that's gonna let him do that. I'm telling you right now.
Wilder's inside game. Wilder's inside. Sorry, Wilder. Fuck. I mean Joshua. Joshua's inside game is to hold on the inside. He did that against Takam. He did that against Joseph Parker. And he did that against Andy Ruiz in the rematch. His inside game is to clinch and hold.
I appreciate.
Who has a better jab? Who has a better jab? Who has a better jab?
I think it's up there. I think AJ has a really good jab. You know what AJ does? AJ has a better jab than Fury.
No way.
He does.
No way.
For sure.
No,
yeah. AJ has a flicking jab. They just use it differently. AJ look how like everybody's like, oh, Pulev has such a great jab. He easily out-jabbed Pulev like nobody, not even Klitschko ever did. Okay, I think he had an easier time with Pulev than Klitschko.
He couldn't out-jab Klitschko. He couldn't out-jab Klitschko.
Bro, Pulev was 40 years old, bro. He was 40.
Wait, Pulev 6'9", 280 pounds. Pulev is a small dude. Pulev is smaller than me. Pulev is like Joe.
Dude, AJ was landing jabs like from the waist,
love
you know,
it.
landing jabs from up here. Like he was being so versatile with that jab. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. Like I'm telling you, it was like a lesson on how to throw jabs. Like
Here's the
any
thing.
boxing trainer could show people that fight and be like, this is how you use a jab. That fight right there. But hey, guys, H Money, I'll let you kind of give some final words here about this topic, and I want to talk really quick about Ramires Taylor. But go ahead.
For sure. So, yeah, man, I just want to say this, D-Style. Anthony Joshua's chinny, man. The guy doesn't have a chin, bro. You know, how many times this guy been dropped? How many times he got hurt? I remember Dylan White clipped him with a left hook. He did the stanky leg dance. He got hurt against Povetkin. He got stopped by Andy Ruiz, who's not the biggest puncher. Chris Arreola just went 12 rounds with Andy Ruiz, and he's 41. And Bermain Stavern stopped Chris Arreola. You know what I mean? So many different times this man got hurt. Klitschko dropped him, almost knocked his head off. So he gets hit too many times. And we know when it gets tough, the guy checked out against Andy Ruiz when he spit his mouthpiece out and turned his back to the referee. And he quit. Tyson Fury never quit, bro. Tyson Fury's a different type of animal. He's in guerrilla mode. He's training. Tyson Fury going to destroy AJ. And I want to see that fight so bad. I want to see it so bad. Thank you, my brother.
Klitschko out jabbed Joshua in their first fight.
Okay, but who got knocked out?
You
All
want,
right, thank you.
you want to see a
No. Whoa.
Klitschko got knocked out cold, brother.
Look, I let H Money have the last word. You guys want to jump in and like keep going or what? Like,
no, you can.
All of y'all. Like,
you can have
it's
the
all
floor.
good. Look,
You can have the floor, D. You take the floor, D.
It was 3-4 on 1. I let you guys have the last word. You still want to keep going?
I'm sorry.
What's going on
D. You
over
take
here?
the floor. You take
Let me tell
control
you
of the
something.
show. Take control of the show, D.
Next week, it's going to be a big week, guys. We're going to be covering the Taylor Ramires, so don't miss HCP. Don't miss HCP Uncensored on G Fucking channel. Don't miss the roundtable. And don't miss Ringside Reporter on Sunday. Don't miss H Money. I'm sure he'll be talking about the fight this week as well. Calix 2.0. I don't know if he'll drop a video about it, but it's a big fight. It's undisputed. You guys don't necessarily have to give me who you think's going to win, but just give me your thoughts on the type of fight you anticipate this fight being. We know it's undisputed. We know the stakes are high, but stylistically, what type of fight are you anticipating? Just really quick, Joe, what type of fight do you think this is going to be, man?
It's a can't miss a fight of the year type fight. It's a can't miss because both guys are offensive minded, and there's absolutely zero chance of this fight being a stinker or not living up to its expectations. I just don't see it. So I'm looking forward to a great fight.
All right. H Money, Mr. DAZN. Although this fight's going to be on ESPN, not DAZN. But what type of fight are you anticipating here, man?
I'm looking for a great fight right here, man. Two undefeated champions. It doesn't get no better than this. For undisputed, all of the belts, legacy. I got to give credit to Top Rank for giving us another undisputed fight. You know what I mean? Got to give credit to Bob Arum, MTK Global, who represents Josh Taylor. This is a great fight. I'm excited about it. I'm going with Josh Taylor. I think Josh Taylor can outbox Jose Ramires. Jose Ramires, he does have power, but he's slow. He's slow. Josh Taylor is too fast for him. And when you look at Josh Taylor's resume, he beat Regis Prograis. Josh Taylor, he won the World Boxing Super Series, right? He won, the guy beat Ivan Barichek. Josh Taylor, he beat up on Victor Postal, and Victor Postal gave Jose Ramires a lot of problems. Victor Postal was outboxing Jose Ramires in that fight, but Jose Ramires got the win, but it wasn't easy for Jose Ramires. I think Josh Taylor is the superior boxer, and I picked Josh Taylor by unanimous decision in this one.
All right, well said, man. G Funky, Ramires Taylor, what type of fight do you think this is going to be?
War is on my mind, like Marvin Hagler said back in the day. That's all I see happening here. Josh Taylor, he likes to sometimes come out and pretend to box because he can be lured into a fight very easily. So I anticipate that happening. Ramires is going to come out there, put a lot of pressure on this dude, and it's going to be a firefight, man. And I'm saying this right now, War Ramires. Let's go, baby.
Okay. You know, a milk car, sometimes in history, we get pumped up, and then one guy maybe has a game plan that maybe it's not as exciting, but he still gets the job done. Do you think any guy will do that, or do you kind of concur so far with the fact that it's going to be a war?
This is going to be a very closely contested war, but fought at a very highly technical level. And I say that because both of these dudes are Olympians. These guys are skilled, very experienced boxers. They both bring their own traits, and I know we'll get down into a breakdown next week as it relates to these two. And right now, of the two guys, I'm a Ramires fan 100%. Like, I like the dude. I like what he stands for. I like all of the work that he does for his community, and people even extended beyond his community. But when I look at Josh Taylor, I see Baranchik. He took Baranchik's O. He took Prograce's O. He took Kong Song's O. Kong Song was a big physical guy. Josh Taylor just made him look really, really bad. But this guy was like built up to be something really special, especially as a Thai guy. Most Thai fighters are super sturdy and strong and resilient. And this guy got folded in the first round. Josh Taylor's the real deal. Jose Ramires is too. What I will say, though, is that I very rarely disagree with my brother up there, H Money, but he gave a lot of credit to Top Rank. I give credit to MTK Global like he did. But Top Rank has dropped the ball on this fight. Like, I've never seen the ball dropped ever. This is a fight between two guys, each holding two belts. And we're doing more promoting for this fight than the fucking promoters are. They don't even talk about it. It was barely featured on ESPN boxing cards. I'm not watching like a 24/7 styled super produced, very captivating and engaging show the way I am for other fights. And this is a unification fight. This is Top Rank bad-mouthing Terrence Crawford when he's still under contract. This is Top Rank bad-mouthing my man Rigondo when he's still under contract. This is Top Rank at its worst. Its worst. This is a super fight. This is much bigger than Teofimo's next fight against Cambrosis. But we never hear about it.
What you mean? We got the fight on ESPN.
That's not enough. Josh Taylor signed his current promotional deal that co-promoted in Top Rank and had him fighting in the U.S. because he wanted to go to the next level. What exactly has he gained from this relationship so far? Yes, he got the fight. He still could have got the fight if he was with Eddie Hearn. As we saw with the Hooker Ramires fight. Eddie allows his people to fight cross-promotion and stuff. But with this fight, listen, unless you are a hardcore fan, you know nothing about this. And this is guaranteed to be a fight that the casuals will love. Two guys that have great stories. Olympians, one from Scotland, one from California of Mexican descent. Both of them great fighters, undefeated, each carrying two belts. And there's no promotion for this? I mean, that's just insane to me.
It's absurd.
I got no answer. Hey, Matt Chad, he says, great show, much respect. I appreciate that, brother. For sure. Phil Walker says it's been promoted horribly. Absolutely. Hey, Method and Manas, shout out to you. Savage Native, how are you doing? Sonteo in the chat. Lisa Balls in the chat, how are you doing? Bales, I'm sorry. And Calix, talk to us. What do you make? What type of fight do you believe we're going to get? Taylor versus Ramires.
Yeah, first and foremost, co-sign everything that was just said about the promotion. Just absolutely horrible. But somebody put technical dogfight in the chat, and I think that sums this up perfectly. Technical dogfight. D-Style, you and I a few years ago were debating who we thought was the best at between Prograis and Taylor. You took Taylor. I took Prograis. Being from New Orleans and watching Prograis from the very beginning, I thought he was the next guy at 140 after Crawford. and didn't turn out that way. I thought it was a close fight that could have went either way, but Taylor showed me a lot in that fight. And as far as how this fight, I'll give my breakdown on the fight as it gets closer. The betting odds have it. Ramires is very undervalued in the betting odds. He's plus 197. So if you like Ramires in this fight, hop on it before the odds get tighter, because they will next week. It'll get tighter. But the main thing that I see in this fight, the difference is both guys fight well on the inside, body punching. But at the same time, when Taylor does it, he doesn't square up the way Ramires does. Ramires squares up on the inside, opens himself up, and he can walk into one of those uppercuts of Taylor when he comes in. So I think that's going to be the difference. Taylor a bit more technical, but if it gets into a war of attrition, this is a toss-up fight. So I love the fight. Obviously, it goes without saying, but I'll give my prediction next week. Love this fight.
Yeah, man, I am 100% in agreement. It is, of course, guys, the 12th and final round. That means last thoughts. You guys can say what you want. I'll give you about 2 minutes max. Just throwing it out there because we're going to close this one up. Calix, give us some final thoughts, brother.
Yeah, just love this fight. Love the fight coming up this weekend with Nery. I like him in that fight in another technical dog fight. But I just want to give quick thoughts on Billy Joe Saunders' corner. I think they did a great job. I don't know if anybody touched on this, but great job of stopping that fight, not even giving Billy Joe Saunders a chance to go out. He stopped the fight. He said, look, I see what's going on here with the eye. He saw it right away and said, we're done. We're done. And not only that, he protected his fighter at all times. Even after the fight, he came out immediately and said, Billy Joe Saunders did not quit. I called it. I called the fight. So that's what a good cornerman does. All right. He protects his fighter in the corner. And then he says after, it was me. I'm the bad guy. And that's the corner's job. Be the bad guy. All right. Take the blame. And that's what he did. So I wanted to commend Billy Joe Saunders' corner. I think they did a great job. And what a great event that was all together. I think everybody did a great job with that.
Absolutely. H Money, Mr. DAZN. 2 minutes. You can talk whatever you want to talk about, brother. What's on your mind? Let's stop.
Sure, man. Thank you for having me, D-Style. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to the HCP, man. Hispanics causing panic. You know what I'm saying? They causing all type of drama out here, man. Appreciate it, my guys, man. You know, come check me out. H Money Boxing this Saturday. Luis Nery versus Figueroa is going to be a great matchup. 2 undefeated fighters. I can't wait, man. And looking forward to that undisputed fight between Josh Taylor and Jose Ramires, man. Appreciate it, D-Style. Anytime I'm available, I'm coming through. Just hit me up. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. My brother Abib, G Funky, Maestro. Appreciate it, man. My boy Calix was good, man. Appreciate y'all, bro. Much love.
Absolutely, absolutely. Chief Funky, touch gloves and give us your final thoughts, brother. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I love this fight this next weekend, Ramires Taylor. I've said this before. I'm going to be dropping a video this week, and it's not going to be a prediction video. It's not going to be a breakdown. I do those most of the time. Well, I should say most of the time. Every time there's a big fight coming up. For this one, I won't be doing that because I'm just going to flat out say it. I'm rooting for Ramires to win this fight. Flat out. What he stands for, what he does, and the kind of attention that he brought to what goes on here in California is very dear to my heart. My family, when they were back in, I'm talking like the 1930s, 40s, they're traveling all around the west coast of this country looking for work. By the time they got to California, they did exactly what a lot of these guys are doing and where Jose Ramires came from the fields, picking produce for all of us to eat every day. Conditions were horrible, and I'm really excited that somebody in the boxing world has decided to put that flag on his back and say, look, I'm fighting for the people here, fighting for these guys. And like I said, I'm always going to root for him no matter what. But I'm not going to come on here and act like he won the fight if he didn't win the fight. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm going to be honest about it once it's over, but I will be rooting for him. I want him to win. So that's really all I got to say. Subscribe to everybody here. Everybody has a channel. Everybody on this panel makes content. Make sure you subscribe. All good boxing talk. And those odds that I'm hearing for a couple of these fights. I don't know, man. Sound pretty good. It sounds like a nice fat white envelope for me at the end of the week.
Well said, man. And Joe Habib, Touch Loves, give us your final thoughts, brother.
Well, I know a lot of times I've been negative lately because there are 2 fights on the horizon. There are 2 undisputed fights actually that that have been proposed and thrown out there, but I'm not 100% confident that they're going to happen. But I am going to say that the event we did have last week was a great event. This Nery fight that we are going to have coming up is a very good fight. And obviously the undisputed fight that we are going to get, the one that we are definitely going to get next week, is going to be a barn burner. And I think it's a can't miss. So I'm looking forward to that. But, I'm just not confident in Caleb Plant, and I'm not confident in Saudi Arabia. I just have to be honest with that. Sorry.
Man, oh man.
I don't want to be negative, but it's like Wonder Woman put that lasso of truth around me, and I can't lie. Sorry.
All right. Hey, Maestro, it's the 12th and final round. Touch gloves and give us your final thoughts, brother.
So Joe Habib was reminding me of the Jim Carrey character when I was a kid in that movie Liar Liar, where he couldn't say anything. Like he tried to lie and like nothing came out of his mouth or he couldn't speak it. I don't know if you've seen that, Joe, but check it out. It was a funny movie.
He couldn't even write a lie down on paper.
Right? At least it was funny to me when I was a kid. Yeah, he couldn't even write a lie down on paper. That's a great point. So, yeah, just shout out to D-Style. Hit that like button. We got a lot of likes tonight. Make sure we up it a little bit over there. Hit the notification button. Get subscribed. Get the notification. D-Style is one of the best out there doing it, obviously, as are all the other people here on this panel. Always a pleasure to be with all of you. We come on here. We challenge each other, right? Sometimes we even exaggerate our own beliefs. At least I do. But it's fun. It's all good.
I can't lie.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got a great fight this weekend. We've got a great fight the next weekend. All these idiots that say that boxing is dead could go suck a D because they don't know what they're talking about. All right? They could go suck a Richard. All right? That's more allowed, right? If I say a Richard? Okay. So keep it positive, everybody. All right? Keep it boxing. Support everybody that's out here. And yeah, we'll be back. No overtime today because of what I mentioned earlier today. I got to get back to my wife and celebrate a little bit. But we'll be back next week, fight week, and it'll be big. And I know my man D-Style is going to be doing a lot next week, so check him out, obviously.
Congratulations to you and your wife.
Yeah, celebrate good times. Come on, you know what I mean? But because there's only one Tyson Fury. One Tyson Fury. He's snorting a line. He's drinking a pine. He's out there cheating on his wife. Oh, hey, there's only one Tyson Fury. It's true. He was over there.
Woman was 5-star though, wasn't she? The one who was sitting beside at Cowboy Stadium. I mean, she was lovely. I'm just saying. The one with the dark hair.
Cuidado. He went down to Florida. He went down to Florida. He was hanging out with Adrian Broner.
Let me tell you something. All right. At the end of the day, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. For those that just came in or came in the middle of the show, whatever, go back, listen to the show on the archive. We talked everything from the Canelo Saunders, giving our last thoughts on that. We'll plan fight for Undisputed. Charlo says he wants to fight Canelo all of a sudden in September. Again, Nery Figueroa, we covered that as well. Fury, AJ, will it be happening? Of course, Taylor, Ramires. With that said, see you guys next week and be on the lookout for the breakdown. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. We're out of here.